City, a 3-yard touchdown pass in overtime.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
Back-to-back best sports talk hosts as voted on in the Pitch magazine.
Live from the Fan Studios. Here's CDOT.
Let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. You are listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Excited to be here with you on this wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. Today is my last day of the week. Rob will be here to hold you down the next 2 days. Binkley will also be here to hold you down the next 2 days. So why don't we enjoy the next few hours that we have? My name is Carrington Harrison. Excited to be here. Rob Britton here as well, taking you up until 5 o'clock, where we hand things off to what could be possibly the hottest team in baseball, the Kansas City Royals. We'll get to that coming up in just a bit. We got a lot to get into. We will put the final touches on our conversation about the NFL draft and the Kansas City Chiefs. Mitch Holtis, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, will be on the show coming up at 2 o'clock. We also will have Joel Goldberg join us on the show coming up in 30 minutes, and that's where we have to begin today's show, the Kansas City Royals. Now, I know that we temporarily put the Royals on a shelf, and we shifted our focus to talking about the Chiefs and the NFL draft and what they were going to do this offseason. And baseball fans, I want you to know that we did not neglect you. We did not forget you. We are now coming back to the Royals. I have certainly had my eye on the Kansas City Royals, but we had more pressing things to discuss, but now a majority of those things are behind us. Now, I want to say, while we were away temporarily from the Royals, you know what? They have gotten hot. They have played really good baseball of late. Their offense has turned things around. They have been a far better and far more competitive team, to the point where if the Royals win today, they will be over 500 for just the 8th time in the last 20 years on May 1st. Now, you guys know my saying. This is the last time you will hear me say this. You cannot make the postseason in April. You can miss the postseason in April. We don't need to have that conversation anymore, because the Royals did not put themselves in a position where you need to worry about what they did in April and it potentially drowning them. It looked like that could be the case for a while, but the Royals have taken care of business the last 10 days or so and have put themselves in a really good situation. So if they win today, it will be just the 8th time in the last 20 years that the Royals have been at 500 or better heading into May 1st. Now, this is what's really important. Did you know that only 4 times in the last 20 years have the Royals been at or above 500 on June 1st? And did you know that last year there were 12 teams that found themselves at 500 or better on June 1st, and 10 of those teams made the baseball playoffs, including your Kansas City Royals? So we are getting close to the point where it's no longer early. We are halfway through that point. And if you look at last season, if you look at the history of it, you have passed stage 1 of the baseball season. There is another stage 2 determining if you are possibly going to be a playoff team or not. It is the month of May. And if you look at the schedule for the Kansas City Royals and what is in front of the Kansas City Royals, this is shaping up to be a pretty good month for this team. The schedule really lightens up. You play Tampa Bay for 2 more games. You play Baltimore, a team that feels like they have been in a tailspin for their last 120 games if you go back to last season. You play the Chicago White Sox. The American League is very bunched up at this point, but the White Sox continue to be all by themselves, and I don't mean that in a good way. The Royals' schedule certainly lightens up in the month of May if you are holding it up against what they had in April. This is the month to strike. This is the month to find yourself potentially 4 or 5 games up and ahead of 500 and really in a position where you can make a run at the postseason. Again, last year there were 12 teams that were 500 or better on June 1st. 10 of those teams made the postseason. All of those teams finished with a winning record. So April is obviously very important, and you want to build those winning habits. You got to do it for another month. And if we're talking that you are 50, 55 games into the season and you're around a 500 club, that really gives you a long-term picture of the kind of team that you are going to be. I'm looking at this Royals offense. I think they are going to be better moving forward in their next 20, 25 games than they were before. I think this offense can get one or two guys in this lineup potentially going. We'll see what happens with the Hunter Renfroe. We'll see what happens with some of the other players. But for an offense right now that really still, for the entire month of April, really only has one person going, and that's Bobby Witt Jr. If this offense can get Salvador Perez going in this month, if they can get the old Vinny Pasquantino back, and they haven't had Vinny Pasquantino, if you were looking at in real time, for 2.5 months. They had him last August. They didn't have him in September. They didn't really have him for October. I know he was on the field, but that was not a healthy Vinny Pasquantino, and they essentially didn't have him for the first month of this season. It has been a while since they've had the Vinny Pasquantino that was in line to hit 25 home runs, to have over 100 RBIs, that we looked at as one of the better young emerging power hitters in baseball. If they can get those things to come together in May and heading into this summer, this could be a really, really fun next 115, 110 game stretch for the Kansas City Royals. You guys know the rules. If we start the show talking about the Royals, and that can only mean one thing, and you know what? It's been a while since we've done this. Hit me, Rob.
We're where you want to be. Baseball with the Royals. If you want to
Okay, today's Random Royals Live takes us back to one of those teams that was, I would say, improbably above 500 on May 1st, the 2011 Kansas City Royals, that on May 1st were 15-13.
That's real.
On this date, they played the Minnesota Twins at home, and they won 11-2. Here was your Royals starting lineup.
I would love some of that offense today.
Leading off at third base, Mike Aviles.
Who might have the greatest batting stance in Royals history.
Batting second, the center fielder, Melky Cabrera.
The milkman.
Batting third, in left field, Alex Gordon.
I'm not mad at that. This is actually a pretty solid lineup.
Batting fourth, at first base, Billy Butler.
One of the most underrated players in Royals history.
Batting fifth, in right field, Jeff Francoeur.
I'm guessing this is where their lineup falls apart. Normally when we do this, somewhere around 5 is normally when things just completely go off the tracks.
Batting sixth, the designated hitter, Wilson Bettamy.
How did I know? I mean, I saw this coming a mile away. I don't know the lineup, but I know this lineup.
I mean, it's every time. By the way, Butler doubled and homered on this date in 2011, so he was doing his job. Batting seventh, the shortstop, Alcides Escobar.
This is how I know the Royals weren't good yet.
Batting eighth, the catcher, Matt Trainer.
Who?
It was the volleyball player's husband.
I mean, I know who he is, but who?
Is it bad that I remember him as the volleyball player's husband more than the baseball player?
The fact that you remember that he was married to Misty May Trainer tells me everything about his baseball ability.
And batting ninth, the fan favorite, the second baseman, Chris Getz.
Oh, boy. Who pitched this day for the Royals?
The Royals got a solid start from Sean O'Sullivan and then got bullpen help from Nathan Adcock, Aaron Crow, and Jeremy Jeffries as the Royals beat the Twins on this date in 2011. The most surprising part of the Royals that day, they scored 2 runs off Joe Nathan. I don't think the Royals have ever scored 2 runs off Joe Nathan.
Do you think there's someone that lives among us that has the Royals Adcock jersey? Because I would love to meet somebody listening right now has the Royals 2011 Nate Adcock uniform, and I just love to meet that person to figure out what was going through their mind when they made that purchase.
Do you think Aaron Crow is Colt Royals hero, or is he still disliked by the fan base?
I think he is a Colt Royals hero because he went to Missouri. I think that is what kept him as a Colt World hero. And, I mean, he was a good player for a time.
He was effective.
I mean, he was a good player until he wasn't a good player, but he certainly had a good stretch. He absolutely.
It was over and fast.
He absolutely had a good stretch with the Kansas City Royals. All right, coming up on the other side, you know what? Let's talk a little bit of NFL before we are joined by Joel Goldberg. Joel Goldberg is going to be on the show in a little bit. There are a couple of questions as we are getting into the NFL offseason. We'll discuss them. Keep it right here. So drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison, your home for the best food takes in KC.
Regular old American nachos. You know, I don't need jalapenos with mine, just chips, cheese.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5 The Fan.
Life's better with American Family Insurance. Because whether it's a family road trip in your dream car or hosting a family reunion in your dream home, we help you feel protected so you can enjoy those dreams with peace of mind. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Wendy's has this new Cajun Crunch chicken sandwich. And to be honest, I'm kind of crushing hard on this Sammy. It's packed with bold Cajun flavors and topped with crispy onions for a satisfying crunch. All on Wendy's iconic spicy chicken sandwich. It's honestly kind of my dream sandwich. I hope it likes me back. For a sandwich you'll love, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location.
Hey guys, Underdog just became one of the best places to make entries during the basketball playoffs with their Extender program. With the Extender, you can play your way to increasingly bigger boosts each round of the playoffs. Start with the playoff series by using the Game 1 boost and continue boosting each subsequent game to unlock the next one. The longer the series, the bigger the boosts. Underdog is one of the leading places to make all your sports selections, and you can play now in your state. That's right here in Missouri. Underdog is one of the fastest growing sports game apps, and you can play it in your state. Look, millions of fans have already won billions playing at Underdog. Are you going to be next? Download the Underdog app today and sign up using that promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to unlock a special offer for up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. That's promo code TAPP. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/extend.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Gear up, race fans. Sioux Cup IndyCar Race Weekend is roaring into Iowa Speedway July 11th to the 13th, featuring the only NTT IndyCar Series doubleheader weekend on the 2025 schedule. Sioux Cup IndyCar Race Weekend has become one of the most anticipated and action-packed events in racing. Tickets are going fast. Score yours today and get ready to feel the rush at the fastest short track on the planet. Visit IndyCar@Iowa.com for tickets. Sioux Cup IndyCar Race Weekend at Iowa Speedway, the ultimate summer racing event.
It seems like just yesterday when I captured my son's first steps, or when we recorded his soccer games on VHS tapes. Those moments are gone. But the old home movies and pictures don't need to be. That's why my son created Legacy Box.
That's right, Mom. Over 1 million families have used Legacy Box to digitally preserve their old home movies and photos.
Simply fill Legacy Box with your old camcorder tapes, film, and photos. They will professionally digitize and send them back on DVDs, thumb drive, or the cloud.
With Mother's Day around the corner, it's the perfect time to get your Legacy Box and save your family's history. After all, few things are as important as protecting your precious memories. Give your mom a Mother's Day present she'll never forget. Legacy Box is offering a 60% discount. Order yours today and take advantage of our best Mother's Day sale ever. Visit legacybox.com/value, and for a limited time, get an incredible 60% off your order. That's legacybox.com/value for 60% off. legacybox.com/value.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You could think you found your dream home online, but here's the twist. The lot next door just got rezoned for years of construction. Work with the expertise and ethical training of a Realtor, here to guide and help protect you from the surprises you didn't see coming. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors, right by you.
Get ready for Cinco de Mayo with Total Wine & More, your cocktail central. From margaritas to cervezas and tequila, we've got everything you need for the perfect fiesta. With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Some people follow the rules, but where's the fun in that? I'm Soraya, and this is Rule Breakers, the podcast where we celebrate the rebels, the risk takers, and the ones who make their own way. Every week, I sit down with the boldest voices in sports, entertainment, and beyond to talk about breaking barriers, defying expectations, and rewriting the rules. No limits, no apologies, just real talk. Follow and listen to Rule Breakers with Soraya, an Odyssey podcast available now for free on the Odyssey app and wherever you get your podcasts.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
We're going to get back to the Royals in a little bit. Joel Goldberg is going to call into the show in about 15 minutes or so. There are still some questions that need to be answered in the National Football League. We are trying to figure out what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. We are trying to figure out what Kirk Cousins is going to do. Now, I don't know if this counts as a conspiracy theory or an idea or what the correct term would be. But I believe that Aaron Rodgers is going to join the Pittsburgh Steelers. I believe that the Steelers would have been more proactive this offseason if they had no plan at quarterback. Now, I don't know exactly what the plan is. Maybe they're going to get through the draft. Aaron Rodgers is going to show up at some point in June, and they don't want to deal with the entire back and forth of, well, why was Aaron Rodgers not at OTAs? Why was he not at minicamp? That's just my own theory. I just feel like we have seen every team try to come up with a possible solution at quarterback for this upcoming season. The only team that hasn't really done anything to try to answer those questions has been the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, what's their plan if they don't go get Aaron Rodgers? What's their plan in week one for an organization that we know takes great pride in trying to make the postseason and trying to be a viable and competitive team? I mean, they have one of the bottom 5 quarterback situations in the National Football League. Maybe you think they will still have that if they go get Aaron Rodgers, but at least that is a short-term plan. So that is one thing that we are potentially waiting on. What's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers? What is the future of him? And what is his future in the National Football League, and what the Steelers are going to do at the quarterback position? The other question is around Kirk Cousins and what he could potentially do. Right now, he is the backup quarterback in Atlanta. That's spending a whole lot of money for a backup quarterback. We have already let the draft go by, and you can't trade him for a draft pick anymore, at least not in this year's draft class, because all of them have already been used. Here's Ian Rappaport with the latest.
To the Kirk Cousins thing, I was, kind of keeping track of and trying to figure out, all right, if he leaves Atlanta, where might he go? And I think if your good friend Aaron Rodgers does not go to Pittsburgh, I think that would be a possibility. But it feels to me like the other possibilities kind of don't exist. Like, people talked about the Vikings. Okay, well, they traded for Sam Howell. People talked about maybe the Browns. Okay, well, I don't know if you guys know this, but they drafted a second quarterback in Shedeur Sanders. So I don't think he's going there, and I don't think he'd go anywhere. And Dylan Gabriel.
Jeez.
And so, the more this goes, I kind of think he's going to be the Falcons' backup, which, there's no source on that because the Falcons have told us this from the beginning. It's just we kind of, just didn't believe them, it feels like. But I think, he's got family in Atlanta. I'm not sure, he's got a no-trade clause. I'm not sure he's going to go anywhere unless something crazy happens where he would be able to go be the starter.
I am guessing that Kirk Cousins' best opportunity to start this year in the National Football League is either in Pittsburgh, where Aaron Rodgers doesn't take the job, and we'll double back on Pittsburgh here in a bit. So Aaron Rodgers decides, I'm done playing in the National Football League. Pittsburgh is left scrambling. They go get Kirk Cousins as a viable option for them this upcoming season. Or it's waiting for an injury to happen, because Cleveland, they have 5 players in their room. I don't know why Cleveland would now go out and get Kirk Cousins. It just doesn't make any sense to me. When you've got Kenny Pickett, you've got Joe Flacco, you just spent 2 draft picks on quarterbacks. Now you're going to spend another asset or more cap space to go get another quarterback. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me if you're Cleveland. I think you have to cross them off the list. I still think it undermines what the Falcons want to do if you are bringing Kirk Cousins back. And if you're Michael Penix and you play poorly in the first month of the season, you already know what the conversation is going to be. Well, do they make the right decision? Well, should they go back to Kirk Cousins? I just think you usually want to eliminate that conversation and you want a clean, fresh start. And the best way to have that clean, fresh start is to remove the possibility of the conversation. And that's getting Kirk Cousins off of the roster. I still believe that he will be on another team at the beginning of training camp. Or possibly an injury happens in training camp. Something happened like a couple of years ago to Teddy Bridgewater. Something happened like what happened with Sam Bradford a few years back, where an injury happens. A team is now scrambling for a quarterback, and he is the last remaining viable option to go get that quarterback. I think that's what probably happens with him. And then if you look at Pittsburgh's situation, to double back, I mean, their starting quarterback right now will be Mason Rudolph. Their backup quarterback will be Will Howard. That's their plan at QB for this year. You know, this show loves Will Howard, friend of the show. He could maybe be a starting quarterback in the league this upcoming year. I mean, Will Howard to me just screams career backup, and that's a great job. You make 10, 15, $20 million over your life. People like being around you. You're a guy that comes in and you're a Cooper Rush type that's going to be in the league for a while. I mean, that's a good job if you can get it. I just don't know if Pittsburgh is going into this season, not with this quarterback room that they have with Mason Rudolph and Will Howard. I think Pittsburgh has a deal in place with Aaron Rodgers. They are letting him get through whatever personal thing he described to us on Pat McAfee a couple of weeks ago, and he ultimately is going to take this job. Or if Rodgers has a change of heart, I think they have to go out there and get Kirk Cousins. I think we are trying to figure out what two of the veteran QBs in the league are going to do, and it makes sense as we have now concluded the NFL draft cycle. So we're done with free agency. We're done with the draft. Rob, there's just not a lot of jobs. There's not a lot of spots open, not at that position. Teams have already filled them.
Can you explain to me, and it's maybe impossible to answer, why the Steelers of all franchises are putting up with this with Aaron Rodgers? Because if there is one franchise that I feel like it's you fall in line, the culture is the culture, this is what we do, maybe even more so than the Kansas City Chiefs, it's the Mike Tomlin Pittsburgh Steelers. It's we above me, or at least that's how it looks like from an outside perspective. But it seems like they're just placating Rodgers without placating Rodgers yet. Hey, we want you, sign on your terms. Hey, we're not going to draft a quarterback, even though quarterbacks were there for us to take in the first couple rounds, because we feel like you're the guy. We're just going to keep waiting. We'd love you. Take your time. We think you're a great quarterback. You can do what you got to do. You get through your personal stuff. Hey, if you don't want to come to OTAs and weekend, that's fine. We'll sign you in June if that makes you happy. How come the Steelers, of all franchises, are playing this game with Aaron Rodgers? If there was one team in the league I thought would have said, here's the hard line, get on board or don't, it would have been the Steelers. But it feels like they're just placating Rodgers, which is stunning to me for an organization that proud.
I think it's a combination of two things. This was not a great veteran crop of quarterbacks this year. People didn't love this draft class. There aren't a lot of options if you were them. I mean, honestly, one of the best options for Pittsburgh would have been Justin Fields. They didn't seem to have much interest in Justin Fields. Other than that, it was Justin Fields. It was Russell Wilson. It was those Daniel Jones. It was those type of quarterbacks that were available this offseason. So it's a bad veteran group. You didn't obviously love this year's class, or you would have taken one in the NFL draft a little higher than Will Howard, where you got him in the 6th round. I just think this was one of those years where Pittsburgh kind of has to hold on and wait for next year. You get Aaron Rodgers. He can help you potentially make the postseason. And then in 2026, where the expectation is that that is going to be a much better quarterback class than the one that we had. I mean, there were, 5 quarterbacks I think I saw taken. It was the fewest in the first, 3 rounds, 4 rounds since like 1972. Like, the people that do this for a living and the general managers, they have told us, hey, we don't think very, very highly of this quarterback class. So I understand the Pittsburgh Steelers not spending a lot of resources when it comes to trying to find their forever quarterback in this year's draft class. Coming up in about 5 minutes or so, Joel Goldberg will join us on the show. We'll get his thoughts on the Kansas City Royals as they are in Tampa right now. They won game 1 of the series. If they win one of these next 2, they will win the series and continue their very hot streak. Before we do that, you know that you've messed up when Charles Barkley goes on the Dan Patrick Show and tells you that he is concerned for you. So earlier today, Charles Barkley went on the Dan Patrick Show, and that's actually one of the show that he kind of frequents. I like when he goes on there. And here's Charles Barkley talking about Bill Belichick, who he's concerned for.
This is a very slippery subject for me because Bill's one of my really good friends. I'm not sure what's going on. He's been a great friend for me for a long time. We've been friends since he coached for the Browns. I think he got to be very careful right now. This is starting to be on a very slippery slope. He's the greatest football coach ever for him and Nick Saban, for college Nick Saban, for Bill to NFL. Yeah, I from what I'm hearing, it's starting to be a very slippery slope. And I never talk about people's personal relationship. That's another rule I got. But I will admit I'm a little concerned with some of the stuff that's going on. And I might actually reach out to him and make sure everything's good. But I am concerned from what I'm hearing because, it's not a good look right now. I'll admit that.
Whenever your boys got to reach out to you and check to see if you're good based on the relationship that you're in, you're moving a little funny. I actually like when we didn't know anything about Bill Belichick. They say that you should never meet your heroes, and that meeting your heroes is like figuring out how magic works. I don't want to know how you did the trick. I simply want to be amazed at how you do it. Bill Belichick has created this aura of the hoodie and being so stoic and not answering questions and being this secretive, elusive individual. He has taken a sledgehammer to all of that in the last 3 months over this girl. Whenever you got to release, you have released multiple statements about the interview that you did on CBS Sunday Morning. I agreed to speak with CBS Sunday Morning to promote my book. Prior to this interview, I clearly communicated with my publicist that any interview I participated in would agree solely to focus on the contents of the book. She's in your book. You called this woman in your book your creative and coaching muse. So it seems to me like asking a question about her is in bounds. You also don't get to do interviews, and then you can define what questions are asked in the interview. That ain't how this goes. It doesn't go where you ask me to give you pre-approved questions, and then we go through the interview. No, I'm not interested in doing that interview then. Go promote your book elsewhere. This is a you scratch my back, I scratch yours. We have Bill Belichick sitting down with our show. We obviously want to hear from you. You have won multiple Super Bowls. You are a new head coach. You are in a very public, visible relationship. One of the most visible relationships right now in American pop culture. Yes, we're going to ask you about it. You're moving weird. That's how you're moving. You're moving weird. Bill, I just want you to know that the rest of us, we understand. I get it. You got a new relationship. You're feeling good. You're happy. You're having new experiences. But Bill, we also are worried about you because what I've seen these last 4 or 5 weeks with you and your new lady, it's a little troubling. You got a CC'd on your emails. She's interrupting interviews. It's a lot, Bill. We haven't even got to the football part of it. If there's one thing we used to know about the Patriots was that they hated distractions. Bill, you are dating the distraction. I never thought I would say that about Bill Belichick. You learn something new every day. Let's go to the phone lines right now. We will head down to Tampa, Florida, and be joined by Joel Goldberg, who covers the Kansas City Royals for the FanDuel Sports Network. Joel, how you doing, my man?
I'm good, C-Dot. Just looking out here at Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, the minor league or spring training home of the Yankees, with Rays signs everywhere, and off in the distance, Buccaneers flags across the street from the Bucs Stadium. So I don't know. Maybe there's something with Belichick there. Probably not.
So let's start with this, Joel. What is different about the Royals the last 10 days than the previous 10 days? Because these are two completely different Royals teams that we've seen over the last 3 weeks or so.
Yeah, I mean, they're still not really hitting a whole lot. That'll happen. And, I think, and this has gone on since the beginning of time, I mean, there's no team in baseball, the best team, the worst team, and everybody in between, that is immune from a hot streak and a cold streak. And I think that the bad teams, the White Sox and Rockies types of teams of the world are going to have a lot more of those bad streaks. And the Dodgers and teams like that are going to have a lot more of the winning. I mean, this is really obvious. And I think the Royals are certainly somewhere in between there and probably more on the good end. They're a playoff contending team. And just last year they had 2 or 3 of those stretches. They didn't happen till late in the year. I mean, remember last year everybody was panicking, understandably so, late in the season as they had their second big losing streak in September. And I remember J.J. Piccolo after the first one saying, glad we got that out of the way. And then 2 weeks later they had another one. So it is the worst answer. It's just baseball. But that's a way of saying there's no explaining it. Now, you could sit there and say why they didn't do it, right? They weren't hitting well with runners in scoring position. They're doing that a little bit better right now. But I think really more than anything, what's kept them afloat is their pitching. And, if you're going to survive a 2-8 road trip and a 6-game losing streak, the only way to erase that is to come out and have a 6-game winning streak. And now they've lost 7 of 8. So they're kind of back to where they were, close to it.
It does feel, Joel, that this offense is simply waiting for the rest of the team to catch up with Bobby Witt Jr. Now, I know that's setting a very lofty expectation, but, I mean, Salvi still hasn't hit yet. Vinny still hasn't hit yet. It's basically been Bobby Witt Jr., Garcia, and that's really been about it consistently offensively for this team.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think that there are a couple good pieces there that I'm seeing. The first is obvious, Bobby Witt Jr. Tonight, by the way, is his 500th career game, and I think the question to ask is not what to make of the first 500. We'll ask that tonight, but what to make of the next however many, right? I mean, if he's just getting started, what does the next 500 look like? But, okay, yeah, check him off the list. I think the best, most pleasant surprise so far this season, I think there are 2 of them for me in terms of things that you could have hoped for but couldn't necessarily expect. One is Maikel Garcia. The other one is Chris Bubich. Bubich was fighting for a rotation spot. If that didn't happen, maybe it was going to be bullpen where he looked good coming out of Tommy John last year. And Maikel Garcia was, what's his position? I mean, if Massey's going to play second and India's going to play third or some combination of that or left field, then where does he fit? And, I mean, Maikel Garcia didn't even start opening day. And now you can't keep him out of the lineup. And not only can you not keep him out of the lineup, but he's not batting ninth. He's going to bat fifth, sixth, somewhere in there, seventh. And if India's off, he's going to bat leadoff. So that's been a great development. You're right, though. The rest of the team hasn't caught up. Seeing really good signs from Salvi on that. He had the 4 double 5-hit game in the doubleheader last Thursday. Last night, if you look at the box score, it's going to show 1 for 4. There's a reason why I highlight or color code my scorecard, because I always want to show the hard hit balls. Not for anything other than when you see a bunch of them stacked up, there's probably been some bad luck, or maybe more significantly, it's a sign that something good is going to come. And I think if I look at last night, and I checked this out after the game or during the post-game show, Salvi was 1 for 4 with an RBI double in there, but the average exit velocity, that includes 3 outs, was like 104 or 105. I mean, he was just smoking the ball for a couple of those outs. So Salvi looks like he's close. I think Vinny looks like he's getting closer. I think Massey has struggled, but I think that if you're looking past the 2 guys that you mentioned, it's got to start with Vinny and Salvi. I mean, those are your 3 and 4 hitters. And yes, great if you can get production from the Kyle Isbells of the world or Freddie Fermin or guys like that. But it's got to me, the next step is Salvi and Vinny.
Right now, we're talking to Joel Goldberg about the Kansas City Royals that are currently at 500. They got a chance to go over today in their game against Tampa Bay. This is crazy to think about when you think about the Royals, but today Noah Cameron's going to make his first start. He could go out there and pitch a perfect game, and I would say in the next 5 days they probably have to move on from him just because their rotation has been so good. This is certainly one of those good problems, but I'm just not sure if there's a spot for him in the rotation when everybody is healthy.
There is not a spot for him in the rotation. I mean, that's not even, I'm not sure. Now, we could debate if he's better than someone else. I don't know how we could debate that right now because we don't know. But, this is a rhetorical question, if you were going to bounce anybody from this rotation, who would it be? That's how good this rotation has been, that if Michael Lorenzen is your number 5, and I know all managers say, there's no difference from 1 through 5. It's just, well, there is. I mean, I get the point of that. You want to respect everybody, and you like your guys, or at least you want to pretend like you like your guys. In this case, Matt Quatraro has every reason to like all 5 of his guys. And, your number one's the guy you want to pitch in game 1 of a series or game 7 of a series if it lines up right. But I think the Royals would feel comfortable with any of these 5. And so it's pretty rare to have 5 in a rotation where maybe you have a prospect like a Noah Cameron, or at some point a prospect like Ben Kudrna, the Kansas City kid, both Kansas City area kids, knocking on the door, and it's going to be hard for them to get here. That's a heck of a problem to have. No different than having a great backup quarterback in football, I guess, where, you know what, if they can't crack your lineup, it means because your lineup is that good. And so I don't – it'd be great if Noah Cameron throws a perfect game tonight. I don't know. I've never seen one in person and never seen the Royals throw a no-hitter in my 18, 17-plus seasons here. But whatever he does tonight, there's a good chance that he gets sent back out tomorrow, or maybe they wait just to make sure that Cole Reagan's spot in the rotation is good to go the next time through, which they expect will be on Sunday or Monday. But this is an incredible problem for the Royals to have. Think about all the years that we've talked about Royals baseball, you, me, and everybody else, and lamenting the 4th or 5th spot in the rotation, or even the 3rd spot in the rotation. And right now, they could tap into Noah Cameron when Cole Reagans is trying to get through this little groin injury that is not needing, to this point, they really don't believe needs any injured list time. But instead of rushing it, they have the luxury of going to their top prospect. That's a pretty good thing.
Right now, we're talking to Joel Goldberg with the Kansas City Royals. Joel, from a defensive perspective, where do you think is the best place to play Jonathan India?
I don't know. Probably second base, but, the best place to play Michael Massey is second base. I guess this is another good problem to have unless it becomes an actual problem, meaning that if he's a liability. But I don't think I've seen that. I mean, I see him learning left field. He seems okay at third base. And as long as he gives you something decent out there. I mean, it's been a while since the Royals have had an Alex Gordon in left field. Benintendi, for the short time he was here, was pretty good. We haven't seen an Alex Gordon since that. MJ Melendez put in a lot of work and looked good there. And look, if MJ gets himself right and gets back whenever that time may come, then you end up seeing India more at third base. Without MJ, you could see him a lot in left field. I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing here that the best spot for him, just for him, is second base, because that's what he's played, his whole big league career. But that's also the best spot for Michael Massey. And so, as long as both of them are going well, they're going to find their way in there. And in India's case, to me, as long as he is seeing pitches, taking walks, and grinding out at bats, then he's going to be your leadoff man, and you'll find a spot for him.
Joel, last thing here, man, we appreciate your time. I always love hearing your stories like this. You always have a front row seat to a lot of these guys' major league debuts. You get another front row seat today for Noah Cameron. Do you have a favorite, or are there a couple of stories that stand out to you when you get a chance to see a guy play his first game in the big leagues?
Yeah, totally. I mean, they're like, and I don't want to make this sound like I'm going to say that they're all amazing, and I don't mean that in like a boring cliche way. I've done this so long that I've seen so many guys make it up here, and maybe they make that one debut and they never make it back. Or I've seen guys that knocked on the door and never quite made it. And then you look at the flip side of that, Salvador Perez, all the years he's been doing it, and guys like that. And so, to me, the big league debut, no matter who it is, no matter where they're from, whether they're from, Venezuela or the Dominican or, the East Coast, the West Coast, rural, urban, whatever it is, they've fought their whole lives for this. The fact that tonight Noah Cameron is a guy that grew up watching Royals baseball. And I met him at spring training, and I didn't need to introduce myself because I said this on the air last night, he knew who I was. And I don't say that like, wow, how cool. I think it's cool that he gets to make his debut for the team that he watched, that he is going to pitch tonight, and be in a clubhouse Salvador Perez, who he was cheering for like everybody else in Kansas City or St. Joe and in the area. So I'm really excited to see that. Selfishly, the only negative to it is when a starting pitcher makes his big league debut and they announce it the day before or the day of, we don't have the ability to talk to him until after, and I would have loved to have caught up with him beforehand. But I'll leave him alone and let him lock in as they do for a starting pitcher on game day. But I think the one that I didn't answer, the one that stands out to me real quick, and there's so many little ones that people won't remember. But Nate Eaton in 2022 made his debut in Toronto like a lot of Royals players did. Freddie Fermin being one of them, Michael Massey being one of them. Remember, they brought 10 guys up because players couldn't get into Canada due to lack of a COVID shot and regulations. And Nate Eaton makes his debut, and in his final at-bat in a 2-1 game, he hits a homer to give them a 3-1 lead in the ninth inning. I think it was the top of the ninth. And so he's my guest, and I'm interviewing him. And he says it was just like, what he dreamt up in the backyard. And as he crossed second base, the only voice he could hear in the stands at Rogers Center in Toronto was his mom's. And I think the guys in the booth choked up. I probably choked up a little bit. And I'm like, that right there is in some form or another everybody's dream debut, right? And we all had some version of that dream, whether it was hitting, the 3-point shot to win the NBA Finals, or to throw that touchdown pass, or to hit that home run. And they don't always go that way. I mean, I tell guys all the time that whatever, if I get a chance to talk to them, however you do tonight, best game ever, worst game ever, perfect game, or only last one inning. No one could ever take this away from you. This is your debut, and I just think it's the coolest thing. So I'm excited to see tonight's.
That is Joe Goldberg joining us on the show today. You can catch him coming up later today on the broadcast as the Royals look to go over 500 heading into the month of May against the Rays. Joe, great stuff. Always great catching up with you, man. Have a great rest of your road trip.
All right, Cedar. I'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. That is Joe Goldberg joining us on the show today. Coming up on the other side, it has been a thrilling start to the NBA playoffs. We'll talk about it. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
The grass pad man has all the seed you need. Now who can make your lawn thick, lush, and green? The grass pad man can. He has grass seeds for everybody's plans. Dogs and kids in your yard playing hard. After the fun and the sun, you gotta reseed your lawn. So come on down to the grass pad. The grass pad's high on grass.
Here's comedian Howie Mandel for hands-free Cozy Fit Skechers slip-ins.
I'm holding a new Cozy Fit Skechers slip-in sneaker, and first of all, I barely know I'm holding it. It's that light. You see, Cozy Fit is a cool new sneaker where the upper is made of a soft quilted material. It's kind of like a little puffer jacket for your feet, except it looks like a super stylish sneaker.
Introducing new Cozy Fit Skechers slip-ins, the latest comfort creation from Skechers. You can find Cozy Fit Skechers slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
It's the spring sales event at Rob Sight Ford, and I'm here with the man himself, Rob Sight. Rob, you already stole the spotlight. Now what are you trying to take?
Just your attention, Kevin, and maybe a few trade-ins. Now, we've got up to $14,000 off new Fords with employee pricing, plus our own dealer discount.
$14,000. That's hotter than your Sunday barbecue.
Exactly. And unlike your burgers, these deals won't dry out. We've got hard-to-find inventory, huge trade-in values, and our non-commissioned sales team makes everything so easy.
No pressure, just real help. Even I'll admit it, it's the best place in Kansas City to buy a car, and I don't hand out compliments lightly. Or seconds.
That's a fact. And don't forget, we're Kansas City's top-rated Ford dealer on Google. 4.8 stars, nearly 3,000 reviews, and 0 grill marks.
All right, Rob, I'll give it to you, man. You're cooking up some real value over there.
Come see us at 135th and State Line or visit robsight.com. But hurry, these deals are sizzling and inventory's moving fast.
And tell him Rob sent you. No guarantees, but he might throw in a hot dog.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down, 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we're improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000, or go to RexBuysKC.com. That's RexBuysKC.com, and I look forward to working with you.
The other place with 5 great Kansas City locations, Shawnee, Olathe, the downtown Overland Park, Mission, and Belton. With 5 locations, that means you're never too far away from that one-of-a-kind game day experience, plus enough big screens that you'll never miss a second of the action. And if you want some great food, some great beer specials, and beautiful patios, then stop by the other place. The perfect place to make your baseball headquarters this spring. The other place, Shawnee, Olathe, the downtown Overland Park, Mission, and Belton. Your home for baseball this spring.
This afternoon, expect showers and thunderstorms with a high of 68.
Weather brought to you by Robert Half. Our recruiters' expertise and award-winning AI will find you the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today.
This is 96.5 The Fan, your home for Chiefs football.
The NBA playoffs have been a lot of fun. Let's talk about them for just a little bit. A couple of things have stood out to me. The first thing that has stood out to me in the NBA playoffs is simple. Very few athletes get to write their farewell speech. Very few athletes get the ability to write the final chapter in their story. Usually somebody else or Father Time writes that for you. I mean, Tom Brady didn't get a send-off with the New England Patriots. He threw a pick six in his final pass and then got released by the New England Patriots. I mean, Joe Montana didn't get to finish out his storied career with the San Francisco 49ers. Look at how things are going for Aaron Rodgers. Very few athletes get the ability to wrap things up very neatly and go out on their own terms. Everybody that likes basketball likes Damian Lillard. There is not a single person that has bad things to say about Damian Lillard. He has been one of the most exciting and loyal players in the NBA over the last 15 years. He was the face of a franchise. He tore his Achilles. He's done. He's 35 years old, and you have an Achilles injury. Tearing your Achilles in 2025 is what tearing your ACL was in 1995. You remember, when you tore your ACL, we weren't sure if you were ever coming back, or it drastically changed the course of your career. Now, you tear your ACL, it's just not that big of a deal. You go get some surgery, you come back 6 weeks, good as new sometimes. But that is not how tearing your Achilles is. You're out for a substantial amount of time. And even when you come back, you may never be the same, especially as a 6'1" shooting guard. So it makes me sad that we have potentially seen the end of Damian Lillard, or when he comes back, Damian Lillard ends his career for the Washington Wizards coming off the bench. That is not how I want Damian Lillard's career to end, but that is usually how things go in sports. Another thing that I think has been very, very clear in this playoffs, and when you got a chance to get your one in the NBA, you better get it. Because think about where Milwaukee was 3-4 years ago. Milwaukee won the NBA championship. They had who we believed to be the best player in the NBA. They just got eliminated in the first round again. Their second best player, who they traded almost all of their assets for, is now probably going to miss most of, if not all of next season. And you are going to start to have the conversation, if they are not already having it, is what's the future of Giannis here? When you got a chance to get your one in the NBA, boy, you better get it, because things can turn really, really quickly for you in the league. You can be up at one point, winning championships. Giannis, I want to be here. I'm loyal. I'm staying here. Next thing you know, you get traded to the New York Knicks for 3 first-round picks and Julius Randle. That's how this thing can go in a heartbeat. That's how things can go. They're sending you to New York for Karl Anthony Towns. That is how this could potentially go for Giannis, for the Milwaukee Bucks. They have since been eliminated from the NBA playoffs. Milwaukee, it is time to do some soul searching because this combination that you got going on right now, it does not work. You have reached your expiration date. It is over for you in Milwaukee. Coming up at the top of the hour, let's get back to the Chiefs. I made my Chiefs offseason roster. Today I saw a video, and it was Justin Ross working out. And I'm telling you, back in the day when Justin Ross used to work out, I mean, you could lead the show with Justin Ross. The hope, the optimism. We thought the Chiefs had found this diamond in the rough and that he just fell in the draft and that the Chiefs were smarter than everybody else. And, man, the Chiefs were putting out those little hype videos. You guys remember the videos that I'm talking about. Justin Ross is absolutely on First Team Chiefs Twitter offseason hype. I have made my full list of who I think that is. We'll go through that coming up in a bit. I forgot that Justin Ross was even around until I saw this video posted earlier today by Starcade Media. Shout out to them. I saw the video, Justin Ross, he looked like he was in somebody's backyard. This didn't look like he was on an official football field. It looked like he was at Mo West. It looked like he was somewhere in Grain Valley in somebody's backyard playing a little catch outside. He ran a little route, and I'm telling you, back in the day, that thing would have went viral. It would have been on the front page of the Kansas City Star. You guys don't care about Justin Ross anymore. You moved on. You moved on. And now we'll see who that next player is potentially going to be. Maybe it's Nico Remigio. Maybe it's Brashard Smith. But don't worry, you guys will find a new Justin Ross to put all your hopes and dreams into. That's what the NFL offseason is about. Everything has a season. There's free agency season. Then there's draft season. And then there is unrealistic expectation season. We are a couple weeks away from unrealistic expectation season. Another unrealistic expectation will be for the Royals to let us know where the stadium is going to be. I mean, I know, we've been doing this for a year. You would think that we would get some clarity in all of this. We will never get clarity on this. Here is the mayor of North Kansas City. He says they haven't talked to the Royals.
Then the Royals. So a few council members have alluded to that, comments from the public tonight. I just want to put it out there. We've had no conversations with the team. No one on this governing body is out begging the team to come to North Kansas City. I know that's being passed around. It's got the impression in the community that we are outward asking them to come here. We haven't been approached by the team or the developer at this point. We haven't heard, as Councilmember Fitzgerald said, anything official since the end of 2023. And so it is my pledge during this, if we go down this road again, that we're going to engage the residents. We're going to talk back and forth with you. We're going to share the information we have, and we're going to get your feedback. Those questions that you have, the things that Mindy and Dave enumerated, there's a survey that went around. There's some real good questions, some real boots on the ground affecting the residents, things that we need to talk about before anything is going to move forward. Then we talk about money, we talk about financing, we talk about what that will look like. But the residents are going to have a say. And pardon the god-awful pun that I'm going to throw out there, but if this is not a home run for North Kansas City, we're not going to move forward.
We'll never get clarity on this issue. The World Cup will come and go, and we will have no clarity on this issue. They're about to open up the streetcar extension very, very soon. I believe that it's coming. I believe we'll have the streetcar opened up by the end of the summer. I think you will be able to ride it from the River Market all the way to UMKC's campus. I think you'll be able to do that. We still will have no clarity on where the baseball team is going to play in the future. We will never figure this out. I don't know who they're talking to. I don't know what they're talking about. It's not going to be on 135th. They've at least seemed to cross that off the board. They haven't been talking to North Kansas City. Maybe they're going to Kansas. Maybe they're going to downtown. Maybe they're going to Louisville. I mean, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out what city they will go to. But eventually, I would like to think that we will get an answer of what the future looks like for the Kansas City Royals. One thing that they have in their future is potentially going over 500, and they can do that coming up later today with the win over the Tampa Bay Rays. You can hear that right here on 96.5 The Fan. All right, coming up on the other side, I saw a new video with Justin Ross, and it inspired me to make the all-off-season Chiefs team. I'll tell you the roster. Keep it right here, so drive.
Hey, it's Cole Reagans from the Kansas City Royals. You're listening to The Drive with C-Dot on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
I'm Brian Tedesco, CEO of Blaupunkt Americas, the pioneers of the car stereo. Today, we're not just about sound systems. We are revolutionizing the e-bike scene with Blue Dot Bike. Thanks to AmericanEagle.com, our online presence now features a dynamic e-commerce website that showcases the quality and affordability of our foldable e-bikes. And our collegiate e-bikes, just perfect for the college fanatic. These e-bikes offer a new way to experience freedom on two wheels, no matter your age. When we needed a top-notch website to match our cutting-edge e-bikes, we turned to AmericanEagle.com. They made the impossible seem easy, tackling digital challenges like pros. Check out the Blue Dot Bike website to see AmericanEagle.com's amazing work in action. Need the best in website and digital marketing solutions? AmericanEagle.com is your go-to. They've been a game changer for us, and they can be for you too. Visit AmericanEagle.com or call 877-WEB-NOW-1. That's 877-WEB-NOW-1.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Every morning, we rise and shine, make breakfast, and brush away the night's rest. These routines help us start the day off right. Nature-Made vitamins are a simple step in that daily care regimen. Multivitamins with daily essentials, clinically studied probiotics for gut health support, magnesium to help relax the body. Nature-Made is made to care for you every day. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hey, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here. Are you feeling tired, maybe a little foggy, or just not like yourself? Well, it could be low T. Symptoms like low energy, poor sleep, and a lack of motivation. They don't have to control your life. And at Heartland Men's Health, they specialize in treating low testosterone and helping men regain their vitality and confidence. With just a simple, quick quiz at heartlandmenshealth.com, you can find out if you're experiencing low T, and then you can book a $100 consultation. They'll run your labs, and within 30 minutes, you'll have your answers. And if you start treatment that day, then the visit is on the house. In just weeks, you'll feel more energy, get better sleep, improve workouts, and have a stronger sex drive. So don't let this hold you back. Pick up the phone. Don't wait. Call 844-447-6600 or visit heartlandmenshealth.com today. Heartland Men's Health has 3 locations to serve you: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City. Reclaim your energy and confidence today.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Consult a doctor prior to use.
Wow, you look amazing. What have you been doing?
I'm sure you've heard of Ozempic, Wegovy, and the other GLP-1 medications, right? Well, I found this great company called Zelfie. If you qualify, their providers can prescribe medications like Ozempic and Wegovy and other GLP-1 medications that are 80 to 90% less expensive, all 100% online.
I can get GLP-1 medications for 80 to 90% less and do it all online? No doctor's office or pharmacy?
Yes, Zelfie can provide semaglutide or tirzepatide, the active ingredients in Ozempic and other expensive GLP-1s, but for 80 to 90% less and shipped directly to your door.
How do I get started with Zelfie?
Just send them a text.
Text MIND to 200-300 to get started today with Zelfie. Get the same active ingredients in Wegovy or Ozempic, but for 80 to 90% less and 100% online. Don't wait. Text MIND to 200-300 right now for a link to your exclusive offer. Text MIND to 200-300. That's MIND to 200-300. MIND to 200-300.
This summer, Casey's has 89-cent fountain and frozen drinks. But if you don't have 89 cents, you could check your center console, or dig between your couch cushions, or ask Grandma for $1, or just use your credit card. We take those too. 89-cent frozen and fountain drinks at Casey's all summer long. Restrictions may apply. See store for details.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You could think you found your dream home online, but here's the twist. The lot next door just got rezoned for years of construction. Work with the expertise and ethical training of a Realtor, here to guide and help protect you from the surprises you didn't see coming. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors, right by you.
Get ready for Cinco de Mayo with Total Wine & More, your cocktail central. From margaritas to cervezas and tequila, we've got everything you need for the perfect fiesta. With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Royals coverage sponsored by Park & Go. The best deals on airport parking.
Step up to the plate and hit a home run with Casey's best airport parking. It's Park & Go. Great service, low price, zero hassle. Open 24/7 and all spots are covered. Don't get caught looking. Strike three. Reserve your spot today at bookparkandgo.com.
Take me out to my TV on FanDuel Sports Network. Yeah, yeah. Royals games, announcers, and more Royals games. Did I mention they have the Royals? Stream now.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and watch all the shows from your phone, desktop, or tablet. Your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
All right, we'll get back to very serious sports things in just a bit, but why don't we have a little bit of fun? So today, as I was getting ready for the show, I saw a tweet from Starcade Media, and they do a good job. Justin Ross was running routes somewhere and ran, a little out pattern, caught the ball, and back in the day, this tweet would have went viral. I mean, Chiefs fans would have been talking about it, sharing it. Man, I can't wait for the season with Justin Ross. Oh, man, the Chiefs found a diamond in the rough. Hey, did you guys see what he did in Clemson as a freshman? We would have led the show talking about Justin Ross. That's how it used to be around Justin Ross. Now, he's old news. I mean, if you couldn't find the rotation in the past with the Chiefs wide receivers, how do you find it with these wide receivers? I mean, you got Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, Jalen Royals, Nico Remigio. I mean, there ain't really room for you if you're Justin Ross. You're yesterday's news. You're old hat. So you guys don't care anymore about Justin Ross. So this got me thinking, if I had to make the all Brett Veach social media team, first team text line, if I had to make first team text line, who would that be? Now, I want to be clear. This is just the Brett Veach era. There's no Casey Printers on here. I don't want to hear about somebody that played back in the Todd Haley, Marty Schottenheimer days. This is the Brett Veach all hype team. Now, I really struggled at corner because I think there's two people, Rob, if you want to give me a little bit of music as we do this. I struggled a little bit because you can either go Shane Buechele at quarterback or you can also go trick shot Alex Tanney. Which direction are we going at quarterback to lead this team here? Because Shane Buechele had some backup conversation vibes there for a little bit. I mean, if something goes wrong with Mahomes, we got Shane Buechele. The Chiefs have told you every time, no. We will never put Shane Buechele in a game that matters. He can play in August. He can play whenever Trent Green and some random announcer is on the call when the game's on Fox 4, but he is not playing in the games that really, really matter. Do you have Alex Tanney as the quarterback, the trick shot QB, or is Shane Buechele first team all text line?
It's Shane Buechele because the other part of the Buechele story is, and this is a peak Chiefs Twitter behavior move, he's friends with Patrick Mahomes, so you got to give him a chance. If you're friends with Patrick Mahomes, the text line and Twitter love to give you opportunities. You just pal around with Patrick in the offseason, you get ample opportunities. So Buechele's at quarterback.
All right, you know what? I'm going to go with Alex Tanney. I liked Alex Tanney. Trick shot, You know, he would come in there, he would do some cool stuff. I'm going to throw him on the list, but perfectly fine if you got Shane Buechele as the QB. I actually think running back was fairly easy. You have Darwin Thompson and Prince, Deneric Prince.
No Luis Reese-Zammit?
I got him as the flex.
Oh, okay.
I got Luis Reese-Zammit in the flex there. Now, text line, don't lie to me. You remember how excited you were about Luis Reese-Zammit. You saw him play a little bit of rugby. You thought about Andy Reid's offense. They had changed the kickoff rules. Oh, my goodness. Luis Reese-Zammit, he was going to come in here and revolutionize the game. Remember when he brought that SI model and they went to Worlds of Fun? Oh, it was great. I got Deneric Prince and Darwin Thompson. And I also got Luis Reese-Zammit. He's my flex. So you either can put him at wide receiver and he can kind of be that Percy Harvin do everything type, or you could put him at running back if you want. But Deneric Prince, Darwin Thompson, and Luis Reese-Zammit. Wide receiver, also very easy. Doris Fountain and Justin Ross are there as my 1-2 at receiver. For a while there, Doris Fountain, he was a very popular 4th or 5th option at wide receiver. A guy that was going to come in a little bigger body, somebody that the Chiefs didn't have at wide receiver, and they were going to use him. Doris Fountain is my wide receiver for this team. Justin Ross, I mean, it goes without saying there. Of all the players that you guys have potentially fallen for in the Brett Veach era, Justin Ross is at the top of the list. Mind you, the man has a fused back, wasn't playing, and for a while there, it did look like it could potentially work out for the Chiefs. So I will give you that. It did look like it could work out. He got into that off-the-field issue. Remember where he had the little situation out in Kansas? I don't know what happened, but something happened. And it seems like kind of after that, he kind of lost favor with the team, and that was kind of the end of it.
I'm stunned you don't have Josh Gordon. Remember the text line was convinced playoff Josh was a thing and that they were some secret plays they were going to use to unlock Josh Gordon at 39 years old. Like, maybe Josh Gordon is the first guy off the bench on this team, because there was a time where Josh Gordon, now maybe that wasn't the offseason, was thought to be some secret weapon for the team.
Now, I will say this, and someone says, what about Derek Gore? Derek Gore was getting Priest Holmes comparisons for a couple of weeks. That was a wild time when we were giving Derek Gore. He kind of reminds me of Priest. No, he doesn't. He does not remind me of anything like Priest Holmes. At tight end, there is only one person. He might actually be the team captain for this team, Jody Fortson. There is no player that the text line has convinced themselves could really find a role with this team more than Jody Fortson. Now, I will say, for whatever reason, for a time there, he would catch touchdowns. He'd have 6 catches and 3 of them would be for touchdowns. He'd have 3 catches for 17 yards and 3 scores. It didn't make any sense, but there was a time there that Jody Fortson, you guys were convinced he was their number 2. I got Jody Fortson there. Now, I have an honorable mention player. Remember when the Chiefs were really struggling at wide receiver and they let Ish Smith Marzette go and they let him go to the Carolina Panthers? Do you remember that? Because for a while there, it was like, man, how could they let this guy go? How could they do this? I mean, since leaving the Kansas City Chiefs, he has had 51 yards receiving. So I think the Chiefs made the right decision. He's my honorable mention. So that's who I have on my team of first team all text line. Alex Tanney, Deneric Prince, Darwin Thompson, Luis Reese-Zammit, Doris Fountain, Justin Ross, Jody Fortson, and honorable mention is Ish Smith Marzette when he got traded to the Panthers for a future 7th round pick. And people were convinced that he could have saved this wide receiver room. I think that's a really good first team Brett Veach text line.
Do you think some of those guys still have a hive? Because there was a while where all those guys had like a love affair by the text line in this city. Do you still think there's a Justin Ross, so he's going to be something belief system somewhere? Do you think there is people out there that still think hey, if those guys got their opportunity in Kansas City, they would have popped. It just, opportunity screwed them. Like the same way that, former varsity athletes who think they're one play away from going pro talk, do you think there are fans who think, you know what, if he was just given a chance, I promise, Reese Sanders would have been a thing. I heard about him on social media.
No, because it's the only reason why I think no. I think eventually you just find a new one. Last year, it was Carson Steele. Heading into the season, Carson Steele was Justin Ross. He was Larice Reed-Zammit. He was Crocky J. He had the long hair. He played well in the preseason. People loved Carson Steele. He fumbled that one time. We've never talked about Carson Steele again. He was out of the circle. Please don't give him the ball anymore. It doesn't take much to get into the circle. It also don't take much for you to be out of the circle of being the flavor of the month. Let Smith have a really good rookie camp. Let this new 7th-round pick, 238 from SMU, let him have a good rookie camp and let the team speak really highly of him. That's who he'll be. Going in a camp where you can't hit people either, and he also used to play wide receiver in college, so he's got decent hands. They'll use him in some different, I'm telling you, this SMU running back has all the makings of first-team training camp. You can see it coming a mile away. It'll be him, and then it'll be one undrafted guy that we just haven't spent a lot of time talking about. It's somebody that they picked up. He'll play corner. He'll be like, man, hey, this guy's got a chance to make the team. He ain't making the team. This team too good. You ain't going from undrafted to making this Kansas City Chiefs roster. You might go undrafted and then got a chance to play for somebody else. Just, hey, it's too much competition on this team, but you can find yourself on San Francisco. You ain't being undrafted and making this team. Not in their 53-man roster. It's just far too competitive for you to do that. So, no, I don't think there are people that still have that feeling about Justin Ross. I think those people have just simply moved on. Just like a popular song. Hey, I used to really love that song. Now this is the new It song that everybody's got a TikTok dance to. That's what Justin Ross was. He was a nice TikTok trend. You have now moved on to the next one.
I don't know, man. There was a time at one point last year when the Chiefs receiver core looked shaky, where there were still people texting in and being like, why isn't Justin Ross getting a shot? Let one of those main guys get hurt. Knock on wood, I don't want that. But if Xavier Worthy misses 6 games with injury, or during Rashee Rice suspension, let's say Jalen Royals isn't hitting the ground running, I think that Justin Ross love will reappear on the text line. I'm betting. They've never quit Justin Ross.
I'm telling you right now, if this organization spent a first-round pick on Xavier Worthy and they keep bringing back Juju Smith-Schuster for you to talk to me about Justin Ross in September, I'm blocking you from the text line. I'm blocking you from the text line. I don't want to hear about Justin Ross once the season gets going. Sure, we can have our little off-season fun, but when they get to St. Joe, I don't want to hear about him anymore. It's over. He had his opportunity. He had 2 years where the Chiefs spent nothing at wide receiver. If you couldn't make the Chiefs wide receiver room in 2022 and 2023, I don't know why I think you should make it in 2025 when they've spent a lot, I would say they've invested at wide receiver. Keep it right here. Let's get back to the Kansas City Royals. We'll do that next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
At Busey Bank and CrossFirst Bank, we're partnering together to help make your goals become lasting legacies. Through bespoke plans that maximize your wealth and partnerships that give you peace of mind.
Because building wealth, tending to it, and passing it down secures a brighter future. Together, we're building extraordinary impact in business, wealth, and community. Busey Bank and CrossFirst Bank. Member FDIC.
Hi, Mia here at the winnings desk of the Missouri Lottery. So, I wanted to write a thank you note for every dollar Missouri Lottery players have given to Missouri and education. But that would be 8.4 billion notes. So to save a little time and a whole lot of paper, here's just one. Dear every single lottery player in Missouri, thank you for helping us give $8.4 billion to Missouri and education. Sorry, my trumpet's in the shop. The Missouri Lottery. Winners welcome and play responsibly.
Call Aspen Lawn and Pest Control. Our iconic blue trucks and expert team get it right the first time. Award-winning full-service lawn care and pest control since 1985. Call today for a free estimate. Visit aspenlawn.com.
Having unexpected car trouble or just in a car accident? Call Jay Southland Tow Service, 816-779-4869 or southlandtow.com. Use the tow service trusted by most local police departments. They can do it all. Be in the know and call Jay's Southland Tow.
Oh, these polymers aren't as flexible as batch K3.
Researcher Laurie is stretched thin.
Did you get the vulcanization analytics from V66? Wait, are these rubber scores from last week?
She needs to hire new lab technicians so she can bounce back into her old self.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our matching platform lets you spend less time searching and more time connecting with candidates. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
At University of Maryland Global Campus, we give our students credit where credit is due. Credit for deciding in the middle of rush hour traffic to go back and get their bachelor's and a promotion. Credit for managing 3 kids, 2 dogs, and a full-time job to pursue an MBA. And credit for serving in the military by day so they can study cybersecurity at night. For over 75 years, we've been helping students receive the credit they deserve. With more than 135 degrees and certificates, students at UMGC can use prior learning or relevant experience to earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's, and graduate students can transfer up to 12 credits toward their master's. At UMGC, you'll find everything from online to hybrid courses and lifetime career services to scholarship opportunities, making your education journey flexible, fast, and affordable. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start May 14th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
I'll bet you mom is the best gift giver in your life. She always gives the most thoughtful, meaningful gifts. And that wrapping, that ribbon curling, top notch, right? So give the moms in your life an Aura digital picture frame preloaded with decades of family photos. Aura Frames was named the best digital photo frame by Wirecutter, and it's easy to see why. There is unlimited storage, so you can add as many photos, videos, and funny memes as you can find. And it is so simple to set up. Just plug it in and share away. She will feel so close to you, and you'll cement your place as the best gift giver in the family. Win-win. Dudes, I'm telling you, the technology on this product is incredible. Mom will love it. Aura's got a great deal for Mother's Day, too. For a limited time, listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off plus free shipping on their best-selling Carver mat frame. That's AURAFrames.com. Promo code ROAM. Support the station by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions do apply.
Royals coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
It's almost Andy Reid. The offseason is a perfect time for a $100 tune-up from Renner Garage Door. Get a free replacement quote today. Call or click rennerdoor.com. Renner forward and back.
RENNER. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Stalled car eastbound 670 just past Broadway, closing the right lane in the downtown loop. Some slowdowns around there. And on the northeast side of the metro, got a crash that is still working. Southbound 435 just past 48th Street. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Hey, it's Cole Reagans from the Kansas City Royals. You're listening to The Drive with CDOT on 96.5 The Fan.
You know what? It's been a while since we've done this. We usually do this during the football season, but you know what? I think today is actually calls for bringing back the circle of trust. It is brought to you by Brew Brothers at Harris, Kansas City, now open daily for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Mouth-watering appetizers, juicy burgers, steak, pasta, and more. And you can wash it down with your favorite ice-cold beverage and catch the game. And today at Brew Brothers, you can get a Booth Creek Wagyu cheeseburger for just $5 with your Caesars Reward card. Plus, it is sponsored by Aspen Lawn Care and Pest Control, where you can expect the best. So go down there, you can get yourself a Wagyu cheeseburger for just $5. That sounds like a deal that you can't beat. So this is how I want to handle today's circle of trust.
With the knowledge you've been given, you are now on the inside of what I like to call the Burns family circle of trust. See, if I can't trust you, Greg, then I have no choice but to put you right back outside the circle. And once you're out, you're out. There's no coming back.
Well, I would definitely like to stay inside the circle.
Today, Noah Cameron is making his major league debut for the Kansas City Royals. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know a whole lot about Noah Cameron. I don't. But I do know this one thing. I would love for Noah Cameron to be one of those people that happens to the Royals all the time. Rob, you followed Royals baseball for a long time. How many times have the Royals gone up against the guy who is either making his major league debut or early into his career? And you know what usually happens? That guy looks like Cy Young against the Royals. That guy looks like Pedro Martinez in 1998 against the Kansas City Royals. It doesn't matter how well the Royals have been hitting before they go up against this guy. That guy in his major league debut is guaranteed to have 6 innings of 2-hit, no-run ball against the Kansas City Royals. And you're sitting there thinking, how does this always happen? That's what I want Noah Cameron to be today. I want him to be that guy that right now Tampa Bay fans, all 6 of them are saying, oh, we can hit this guy. He's never pitched before. And then he goes out there and surprises us all. I'm guessing his folks are going to be there. His girl's going to be there. His first grade teacher is going to be there. Everybody from the Cameron family is going to be there. This is a big deal. You have made it to the major league. Just getting here is the accomplishment. And you can go out there and pitch free. You can go out there and be free today. Noah Cameron could pitch a no-hitter today. He's not staying up with the Royals. Now, he could come back, but given their rotation, given how solid they are, there just really isn't a place for him right now. So what I want you to do is to go out there, be free, and throw strikes. That's it. Nobody's asking you to go be perfect. You're going to lose this job anyway. You got nothing to lose today if you're Noah Cameron. Go out there, throw strikes, and eat up a handful of innings. That's all we can expect of you today. We had Joe Goldberg on the show. Here's what he said about Noah Cameron.
There is not a spot for him in the rotation. I mean, that's not even, I'm not sure. Now, we could debate if he's better than someone else. I don't know how we could debate that right now because we don't know. But, this is a rhetorical question. If you were going to bounce anybody from this rotation, who would it be? That's how good this rotation has been, that if Michael Lorenzen is your number 5, and I know all managers say, oh, there's no difference from 1 through 5. It's just, well, there is. I mean, I get the point of that. You know, you want to respect everybody and you like your guys, or at least you want to pretend like you like your guys. In this case, Matt Quatrero has every reason to like all 5 of his guys. And, you know, your number 1 is the guy you want to pitch in game 1 of a series or game 7 of a series if it lines up right. But I think the Royals would feel comfortable with any of these 5. And so it's pretty rare to have 5 in a rotation where maybe you have a prospect like a Noah Cameron or at some point a prospect like Ben Kudrna, the Kansas City kid, both Kansas City area kids, knocking on the door, and it's going to be hard for them to get here. That's a heck of a problem to have, no different than having a great backup quarterback in football, I guess, where, you know what, if they can't crack your lineup, it means because your lineup is that good. And so I don't – it'd be great if Noah Cameron throws a perfect game tonight. I don't know. I've never seen one in person and never seen the Royals throw a no-hitter in my 18, 17-plus seasons here. But whatever he does tonight, there's a good chance that he gets sent back out tomorrow.
I just want Noah Cameron to go out there and enjoy today. You're making your major league debut. Your first time's always special. I remember the first radio show that I ever done. It was a big deal. I was excited. I finally had made it. I've had a lot of radio shows since then, but there's something special about that first one. Go out there today, throw strikes. You got absolutely nothing to lose here. You're going back down to Omaha anyway, regardless of what happens. So why don't you leave with the memory? If this is your only chance in the majors, leave with something. Be the answer to a trivia question if you're Noah Cameron. That's what I want to see have happen today for the Kansas City Royals. I want to play this audio for you guys, and it came across my timeline, unrelated to the Royals. I still want to play it for you guys. Can you just imagine how wild of a story you would have to tell Tiger Woods for him to say, hey, you doing a lot? Can you imagine you come back from Vegas and you end up telling Tiger Woods a story and he looks at you like, hey, man, you all right? I'm imagining Tiger has seen, done, and heard some things. So for him to kind of act like you're out of line should tell you that you have probably gone too far. I'm going to play Cam Newton talking about Shedeur Sanders. Cam Newton. I mean, funny dressing, Abe Lincoln hat, I want to be an entertainer, dab. That Cam Newton. I want to play for you what he had to say about Shedeur Sanders. Listen to this.
Shedeur Sanders, this message is directed to you. Lead with work, not clout. I think he took on the persona of a DB, not a QB. As a DB, you're able to do certain things. You can speak loud and be rambunctious and have that bravado. But as a quarterback, reminder, you are the CEO of that franchise. What do I mean? You have what I've labeled the super six that you have to pander to. Number one, the owner. Number two, the general manager. Number three, the head coach. Number four, the position coach. Number five, the players. And also number six, the fans. This is the best situation for Shedeur because he has to claw his way to the top. Does he have the capabilities of doing it? Absolutely. And if I'm in his camp, I'm telling him like, bro, let's get to work. Let's control what we can control now. I do see Shedeur Sanders starting for the Cleveland Browns at some point this year.
Just think about who that message is coming from. That's coming from Cam Newton. If we had to make a list of some of the more loud, boisterous, in your face, whatever adjective you want to use to describe them quarterbacks, Cam would be near the top of the list. And I love Cam. Loved him at Auburn. Loved him at Carolina. Cam's fun. Cam's great. Dive in the end zone, Superman, do the dab on him. Cam was a cultural phenomenon when he was a quarterback. Yo, Cam is telling you, you're a little out of pocket. Now, why this matters is Cam was kind of good enough to act this way. Cam Newton might honestly be the best college football player that we have ever seen. I'm serious. He is on the short list of best college football players that we've ever seen. He won NFL MVP. He took his team to the Super Bowl. Cam Newton is one of the best football players we've ever seen. Cam was good enough to act this way. I can do all of this stuff because I'm amazing at this. The rules are different for different people. We know this in life. Some people can act a certain way. Some people can't. I mean, I wish everybody could act and conduct themselves the same way, but that's not really how life works. And usually the people that are the more skilled, the more able, they get more chances than everybody else. Cam was one of those people. He didn't say it explicitly, but that's what he said. I could do this is because I won the Heisman Trophy. I was the number one overall pick. I took Auburn to the national championship. Shedeur, you ain't me. So his message in the end is really the same message that I have. I imagine the same message that a lot of you have for Shedeur. Now's the time to put your head down and go do the work. Go do the work. Nothing that you did before matters. It now starts from this point. You go to Cleveland with a fresh slate in a room that is wide open. How many quarterbacks in that room are you think are better than Shedeur Sanders? I mean, he's going into a room with Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel, and him. One, maybe? I mean, I've seen Kenny Pickett in the NFL. He ain't that good. Joe Flacco is 40 years old. I mean, Dylan Gabriel, he all right. I mean, you got a chance to go in there. You got a chance to win that job, but you got to do the work. You got to put your head down. You got to grind. And now is the interesting part, the intriguing part, to see if Shedeur is actually going to do that. But, I mean, there are some people on certain issues you should listen to. I would listen to Cam Newton when he gives you this message. I think he knows what he's talking about.
Let me walk that back. I think there is very little chance that I think Shedeur is going to show up and just grind and be quiet and do the work and keep his head down and ascend up the depth chart. Because the more stories you hear about the draft process, the more I think about the stories you heard coming out of Colorado and how he basically ran the show at Colorado because his dad was the coach. He never had to answer to what Cam Newton called the Super Six. Sometimes a quarterback has to answer to the fans, the coach, the position coach, and, more in college. They're held to a higher standard. The CEO of a college team. That's not how Shedeur was. Shedeur was, the minute Deion showed up in Boulder, he was considered part of the "Am my bags Louis" comment. He then showed up and immediately was on Instagram Live, showing his fancy car that got snowed in. He had the song. He then had his coach, his dad, tell the band, don't play this fight song when he scores. We're going to play his song. Hey, we got to invite the whole team out because the quarterback is opening for Lil Wayne. After the Colorado State game, he went over and instead of being like, hey, good game to one of the Colorado State players, he said, I saw you on Instagram. We stand on business, and walked away. I mean, he had the little kerfuffle on. There's a video of him and a ball boy from Texas Tech having a little kerfuffle.
I remember that. Yeah, that was silly.
These are things that most coaches would have shut down at some point. Who was the last college quarterback we saw with this level of just like stuff and noise around him that the coach didn't put to an end? Even Baker Mayfield, Lincoln Riley suspended him for a game for all his antics. Deion just let it go, so he's never had to answer to a Cam called the Big Six. So I wonder if the culture shock from my dad's the head coach to there's actually a head coach, GM, power structure answer to, if he's capable of making that pivot. I hope so. For our business, he's fascinating work, but I think it's far more likely he washes out and we wonder, why did he get his number retired at Colorado, than it is that, he's the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns.
No, we'll certainly see what happens. At this point, honestly, it is all up to Shedeur. This is that fork in the road we talk about. Like, the league sent you a very clear message about how they feel about you. They sent you a very, very clear message. Fifth-round picks at quarterback flame out all of the time. Is Shedeur in the league in 2-3 seasons? Because I would say, just based on where he got drafted, that's a 50-50 proposition. There's obviously going to be a lot of teams, if it goes poorly in Cleveland and you're hearing stories about so-and-so, they're simply not going to want you around. You can have a long career in the NFL by people simply wanting you to be around. I don't think we give that enough credit for how hard it is to stick as just even being a backup quarterback in the league. Like, we laugh about it. Like, there is a reason, and I think we were seeing it. Hey, how did Chase Daniel stay in the league and make the amount of money that he made for a long period of time, despite never really showing you that he could be a starting quarterback? Well, he's really smart. People really like Chase Daniel. That matters in this business. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with Shedeur. We'll see what his next move is going to be. But he's going to be given an opportunity. This year, he'll be given an opportunity. They'll have training camp. He's a rookie. He's a young guy, preseason. If the Browns are what I think the Browns are going to be, they're not going to be that good. Usually toward the end of the season, they start playing the young guys. They start playing the rookies. He's one of those rookies and young guys that should be given an opportunity to play if this season goes the way that many of us suspect the Browns season is going to go. We've seen this story play itself out a million times. Browns start veteran quarterback, get off to a bad record. They have a couple of young guys waiting in the wings. They try to give their offense a spark. They go to one of the young players.
Isn't that young player Dylan Gabriel, though?
Maybe. We'll see.
Like, I think what you're saying is correct. Like, we've seen the story a dozen times for different reasons. Like, even last year to an extent in New Orleans, we saw it with Spencer Rattler. Like, hey, we need a jolt to life. You're the guy.
If you can't beat out Dylan Gabriel, then there's nothing else to talk about then at this point.
Dylan Gabriel is a better college quarterback than Shedeur, though.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Dylan Gabriel was a finalist for the Heisman last year. Like, he was a better college quarterback. That shouldn't be like some, we're waffling take. Dylan Gabriel was a better college quarterback than Shedeur. Dylan Gabriel was a Heisman finalist. Shedeur was not. He just wasn't close to that. So, I mean, I think Dylan Gabriel's going to get that shot before Shedeur. Now, maybe Dylan Gabriel, because of his size and all the things, doesn't make the most of the shot, and eventually you see Shedeur gets a shot in the end no matter what. But if I'm Kevin Stefanski and I'm trying to get a shot in the arm of the offense by a young guy, I'm giving it to the better college player who might be able to run the offense better.
Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll be joined by Mitch Holtis, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Mitch Holtis will join us. We'll take a closer look at the Chiefs draft. We'll kind of put a bow on the Chiefs draft. Let's get back to talking about the Kansas City Royals. You guys have heard me say that you can't make the postseason in April. You can only miss the postseason in April. We don't have to have that conversation anymore. April is ending. The Royals are a 500 team. They will either be one game over 500 or one game under 500 heading into May. So they are right there. They are still in contention. Last year, there were 12 teams. There were 12 teams that were at 500 or better on June 1. 10 of those teams made the postseason. This is the turning point in everybody's baseball season. Yes, you can still make the playoffs if you are a team that's under 500 heading into June. Man, it's really, really hard to do it. And we are getting to the point, whether it's with the offense, whether it's with your team, where it's not a small sample size anymore once you get to June 1st. Once you get past Memorial Day, and you've been doing this baseball thing now for 2 months consecutively, hey, we start to kind of come up with some, hey, it's now time to be concerned. So I'm looking at a couple of players for the Royals. Salvador Perez, we gave you a pass for the month of April. We haven't spent a lot of time, Rob, really concerned or worried about Salvador Perez and what that means for him. I'm not worried about Salvador Perez yet. Salvador, you got 1 month to figure this out. You got 1 month. Because I think we would agree, Rob, like, you aren't making the postseason with the version of Salvador Perez that they currently have. Not the one that you had in April. The guy that hit 225, didn't really hit for a lot of power, didn't really drive in runs for you. You're not making the postseason with that version. All right, you've played 30 games so far this season. It's early in the season. Nobody's pressing the panic button on Salvador Perez. You got 1 more month to figure this thing out and turn it around. I would say the same thing for Vinny Pasquantino. Now, I'm a little bit more concerned about him just given the fact of just been a while since we've seen Vinny be good. I mean, he really hasn't been good since the hand injury last year. I mean, Vinny, heading into the month of May, he's hitting 174 right now. He has 3 home runs, and he also really isn't driving in a lot of runs for you now at this point. So this team has managed to be 500, and out of their big 3 from last year, only one of them is doing what they're supposed to do, and that's Bobby Witt Jr. He is having an incredible start to his season. He's one of the best players in baseball, but you haven't gotten the version of Jonathan India that you expected. You haven't gotten Salvador Perez to give you his normal offensive output, and you haven't had Vinny Pasquantino now in almost 70 games. If you date back to last year, and when the injury happens in this organization moving forward, you didn't have him in September. He was playing in October, but obviously wasn't really healthy and probably came back too early in order to really help you in the postseason. And so far in the first month of the season, he's hitting 174 with minimal power this year. If this team is going to go on a serious run and get back to the postseason, they're going to need those 3 individuals out of their big 4 to really pick things up offensively. And this is usually the month where you do it and you define if you're going to be a playoff team or not.
And there have been some positive signs from Salvi. Like, as Joel Goldberg said, there's, he's starting to hit the ball harder. He was hitting below his weight for a while. He's starting to hit a little better. He had the huge day against the Rockies, the day of the draft, the doubleheader. He's had a good night last night. Like, there are signs of positivity around Salvador Perez. Someone else is going to need to do it. Denny Matthews on the show all the time saying the offense has got to be more than 3 people. Right now, it's not 3. It's 1.5, 2. Salvador Perez is turning the corner. Bobby Witt is a superstar. He can't stop hitting, and everyone else is just, to say blah is just a compliment. There are guys who have been bad on this team. They need to get going. Jonathan India is getting on base a little bit, but he's not hitting at all. That's got to get corrected. I mean, Bobby Witt's a star. Vinny Pasquantino, there is real concern with him for me because you're right. Since the injury, it's been a whole lot of nothing. And everyone loves Vinny, but he better start hitting because everyone's excited about Jack Caglione. He's playing right field. Jack Caglione can also play first base. There's no reason to lock in Pasquantino forever if he ain't hitting post-injury. That sometimes happens to people. Maikel Garcia is a nice plus, but Michael Massey isn't hitting at all. Kyle Isbell isn't hitting. We've talked about Hunter Renfroe ad nauseum on this show. Like, your offense isn't good enough to be carried by 3 people. Denny Matthews says all the time, they're not even at 3 right now, but they're winning, which is great, but they need more. I feel like we're going to have this conversation over and over again this season.
Let's continue to talk about the Royals coming up on the other side. We'll get back to the Chiefs coming up at the top of the hour. Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs, will be on the show coming up in 20 minutes. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Doug. Here we have the Limu Emu in its natural habitat, helping people customize their car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Fascinating. It's accompanied by his natural ally, Doug.
Limu, is that guy with the binoculars watching us?
Cut the camera. They see us.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
It's the spring sales event at Rob Sight Ford, and I'm here with the man himself, Rob Sight. Rob, you already stole the spotlight. Now what are you trying to take?
Just your attention, Kevin, and maybe a few trade-ins. Now, we've got up to $14,000 off new Fords with employee pricing, plus our own dealer discount.
$14,000. That's hotter than your Sunday barbecue.
Exactly. And unlike your burgers, these deals won't dry out. We've got hard-to-find inventory, huge trade-in values, and our non-commissioned sales team makes everything so easy.
No pressure, just real help. Even I'll admit it, it's the best place in Kansas City to buy a car, and I don't hand out compliments lightly. Or seconds.
That's a fact. And don't forget, we're Kansas City's top-rated Ford dealer on Google. 4.8 stars, nearly 3,000 reviews, and 0 grill marks.
All right, Rob, I'll give it to you, man. You're cooking up some real value over there.
Come see us at 135th and State Line or visit robsight.com. But hurry, these deals are sizzling and inventory's moving fast.
And tell him Rob sent you. No guarantees, but he might throw in a hot dog.
Are you looking for an easy and affordable way to have a beautiful lawn all year long? GrassPad's idiot-proof lawn program is designed to create a healthy, weed-free lawn at an affordable cost. The program has 5 steps to feed your lawn, prevent and control weeds, and keep your grass green. So come on down to the Grass Pad, and we'll guide you through the process, and you'll have your lawn looking great in no time.
Come on down to the Grass Pad. The Grass Pad's high on grass.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
A great lawn is like a great sports team. It takes expertise and a little extra care to really stand out. That's where True Green comes in. They're the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour, so they know a thing or two about keeping grass looking like a fairway. Here's the best part. It's more affordable than you think, and they'll even match any competitor's price. Plus, True Green backs it all up with a satisfaction guarantee. Not happy? They'll come back between visits to make it right. Don't wait. Head to truegreen.com today. Let the pros do the work while you sit back and enjoy the results.
I'll bet you Mom is the best gift giver in your life. She always gives the most thoughtful, meaningful gifts. And that wrapping, that ribbon curling, top notch, right? So give the moms in your life an Aura digital picture frame preloaded with decades of family photos. Aura Frames was named the best digital photo frame by Wirecutter, and it's easy to see why. There is unlimited storage, so you can add as many photos, videos, and funny memes as you can find. And it is so simple to set up. Just plug it in and share away. She will feel so close to you, and you'll cement your place as the best gift giver in the family. Win-win. Dudes, I'm telling you, the technology on this product is incredible. Mom will love it. Aura's got a great deal for Mother's Day, too. For a limited time, listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off plus free shipping on their best-selling Carver mat frame. That's AURAFrames.com. Promo code ROAM. Support the station by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions do apply.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Stalled car eastbound 670 just past Broadway, closing the right lane in the downtown loop. Some slowdowns around there. And on the northeast side of the metro, got a crash that is still working southbound 435 just past 48th Street. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5, The Fan Traffic.
Hey Kansas City, it's Bobby Witt Jr. Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
I promise I want to get back to the Royals, and we will, just coming up in a bit. Right now, Shedeur Sanders has the #1 rookie jersey and T-shirt, according to NFL jersey sales. This is why the rest of us make fun of Cleveland. I don't like making fun of Cleveland. Cleveland's never done anything to me. I've been there one time. I wasn't there for a very long time. Cleveland was a very fine city in my very limited interaction. But this is why the rest of us make fun of you if you're Cleveland. He's a 5th-round pick. He's not going to start for you guys. You hopped on the NFL.com website and bought his jersey and bought his T-shirt. I mean, if anything, I'm going to wait. I'll get the Mason Graham jersey. He's a 1st-round pick, top 5 pick. He's going to start. I'll wait to get that Shedeur. I'll wait to see how this thing goes. He might not even make the team. This is what happens when you're not used to winning. So you got to just grab anything. You got to grab any excitement. And that's what you're doing when you go get the Shedeur 5th-round pick quarterback jersey. Can you imagine you're walking around town, you're wearing the jersey of a backup quarterback? Have some dignity. We're not talking about, this isn't Patrick Mahomes, who was picked in the 1st round, you know eventually is going to be your starter. This isn't getting the Aaron Rodgers or the Jordan Love. Yeah, eventually, or the Jackson Dart uniform. Yeah, those guys are eventually going to start. Shedeur, he might be a bust. We might not ever see him. You can't be going to the team store right now getting the Shedeur authentic jersey. Cleveland, this is why you'll never win anything. This is why the rest of us mock you. This is why the rest of us laugh at you. Because you guys would do some goofy behavior like this. I can't support this. I can't support this at all. You going to pick up the Shedeur Sanders game worn. Rob, when's the last time that you got a jersey? I actually got you a jersey. When you got engaged, I got you a throwback KU circus font. What was it, like the Paul Pierce, Rafe LaFrentz? It was one of those.
It was Rafe LaFrentz. You would never spend money on a Paul Pierce jersey. Come on now.
Yeah, good point. I couldn't remember who it was. I knew it was an old 90s KU player. I just couldn't remember which one it was.
I'm trying to remember what the last one I bought was. I don't know. I'm not a huge jersey guy. Like, I have a few, like, you know, I'm eventually going to get, like, hung in my house because, like, they're old school. Like, I have a Derek Thomas. I'll get hung one day. But, like, I don't really buy. I mean, I guess Eric Berry maybe in the last jersey I bought. Like, I'd say Eric Berry. When he got drafted, I was convinced he was going to be a star. He was kind of right. So I would say Eric Berry's the last one I bought.
I want to read this text to you guys very quickly. Text line 913-586-7965. C.Rob, winning, more goes into winning than the Royals' record. The Royals, in my opinion, are not winning. They're average at best. If you look at their body of work, right now they are equivalent to a 9-8, 8-9 football team. I wouldn't call that winning by any stretch of the definition. This is where I think that we sometimes grade the Royals on a very unrealistic scale. What would you say the Royals were last year? Because I would say if we were using a football comparison, they probably were, a 10-7 team that ate on bad teams? I mean, they were 500 against the rest of baseball, and they went 12-1 against maybe the worst team in modern baseball. I would say that's what they were last year. But all you want to do is potentially get into the dance and give yourself a chance. Doesn't matter. You don't make any excuses or apologize about making the postseason. You made the postseason last year. The rules are simple. Win this series. They then won the first series against the Orioles. They swept the Orioles. Then they played the New York Yankees. I don't think you have to apologize for that. I mean, I don't disagree with you. I think the Royals are an 8-9, 9-8 football team. 9-8 football teams make the postseason every single year. Now, is that a Super Bowl contending team? No. You're not winning the Super Bowl if you're a 9-8 team. You're probably going to lose to a Kansas City, a Philadelphia, a Baltimore, a Buffalo. You will probably lose to one of those teams. That's what the Royals did last year when they lost to the Yankees. I don't have any problem if that's what the Royals are going to be. In fact, I would argue that if you are 40, 45 years old, the Royals have very rarely been a 9-8 football team. Very rarely have they been that. Think about the Chiefs in the 2000s. I imagine you guys thought the 2000s were pretty fun. Sure, they didn't win a lot of Super Bowls, but they did some cool things. Dante Hall happened. They made the postseason a couple of times, like the Chiefs have. Now, sure, they've had their years and pockets of being bad. The Chiefs have always been a playoff team, always been in the conversation. They've always been relevant. That is not how the Royals operate. There have been pockets, decades in which the Royals haven't been competitive. That if you're telling me that we're now not happy with them being the equivalent of being a 9-8 football team, I would tell you it ain't been that good. In fact, it took them a decade to get back to being to where they are now. They were really good in 2015, and they were bad for a very long period of time. So if that's where they are now, the equivalent of being 9-8, maybe 10-7, sneak into the playoffs, and we'll see if we can do something. Hey, I'll take that for a couple of years because it is far better than the alternative of what they've been for most of our lives.
What I think the Royals are, and why I think some Royals fans are frustrated by this team, is that they kind of remind me of the Texans. Remember, the Texans made the playoffs 2 years ago. They were the surprise. C.J. Stroud was a rookie. They got in the playoffs. It was, oh my goodness, can you believe this team got in? They won the AFC South. They dethroned the Jags. It was a rookie coach, rookie quarterback. I can't believe it. And then they went in, they beat the Browns, and it was optimism abound. Then in the offseason, they went out and they got Stephon Diggs, and everyone thought the Texans are taking that next step. They didn't. They were the same team last year or the year before. They were good enough to win the division, good enough to make the playoffs, good enough to win a playoff game, bump their head against the Chiefs, bing, bang, boom, season over. That's what I think the Royals are. They were a surprise team last year that was good. They beat up on the dregs of the league. They are basically, for a football equivalent, 10-7, boom, in the playoffs. This year, they look like the exact same team. I understand why fans are frustrated they didn't take that step because people thought, oh, you've now got in, take the next step to be a division type of in, you don't have to play in the wild card type of in. They don't look like that team. But you shouldn't discount the fact that at 15-15 with the dregs of the league still on the schedule, it feels like another 85-ish win team, and 85-ish win teams make the postseason, and there's a value in that. And with their pitching staff, maybe they win a series or two again, and there's a value in that. I feel like fans, because of the Chiefs, are too quick to be like, it is championship or bust. No. That's how some teams operate, but most teams operate in the gray.
Yeah, but this is where I think maybe we are being a little bit unrealistic. You want to know when the Chiefs took a next step? They started adding significant pieces that improved them. Their defense was bad. They didn't just bring the whole defense back and hey, we just changed defensive coordinators. Maybe things will be different. No, they signed Tyrann Mathieu. They signed Frank Clark. The Royals are the same team as last year plus Jonathan India. That was a big step forward. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I'm saying is if you thought that the Royals were going to take some big step forward, they didn't make enough moves to think that they were going to take a big step forward. A big step forward is signing a outfield bat that hits 25 home runs and 90 RBIs. That's a big step forward. They added Jonathan India. So, yeah, their offense is a little bit different than it was last year, but, I mean, a large majority of their team stayed the same, so the results have largely stayed the same, right? I mean, I don't think that's some crazy thing to think that I don't know how you expected them to be much different when they didn't really make a lot of moves to be much different this season. Now the question is, the guys that you are relying on, what do they look like? You got to get Vinny Pasquantino back at some point. All of these conversations fall flat if he continues to be what he's been. You have not had Vinny Pasquantino for the last 2.5 months of a baseball season. You have not had him so far this season. You didn't have him during the stretch run last year. And someone on the text line makes a good point. It's not a coincidence that the Royals offense has started to turn things around once Salvi started hitting a lot better. Salvi's hitting 400 in their last 6 games, and the Royals are 5-1 in their last 6 games. They really need somebody to step up alongside Bobby Witt Jr. And when they get that, they got a chance to be pretty good. They just haven't gotten that a whole lot so far this season. Coming up on the other side, we'll be joined by Mitch Holthus, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Keep it right here. So drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for K-State Athletics, 96.5. The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Multi-car crash southbound 35 to the 7th Street traffic way exit, stopping traffic. Also got that collision still in the clearing stages southbound 435 just past 48th Street on the Metro's northeast side. Got a stalled out car closing the right lane in the downtown loop, eastbound 670 just past Broadway. And on the eastern side of the Metro, northbound 435 at westbound 70. Got a stalled car and some debris in the roadway. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5, The Fan Traffic.
This postseason, BetMGM, authorized gaming operator of the NBA, is making first field goal scorer wagers more exciting with Second Chance. What's Second Chance? Ever bet on your favorite baller to score the first field goal, only to see him dish the rock to his teammate for the easy layup? Well, with BetMGM's Second Chance promotion, you'll get your stake back in cash if your first field goal scorer scores second instead. That's right, simply bet on any player to score the first field goal during any playoff game. If you're right, you win, but if your pick scores second instead of first, you get your stake back in cash. Keep the hoop dreams alive this NBA playoffs, even if your bet misses. Grab the chance at getting your stake back at BetMGM, authorized gaming operator of the NBA. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
This report is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Men, here's the truth. In the bedroom, good enough isn't really good enough, is it? This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if your erectile dysfunction is making intimacy less enjoyable for you and your partner, give us a call today. Because whether your ED only happens sometimes or all the time, it's time to stop good enough and time to start really good. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. Whether it's only mild or moderate, or even if it's severe, our treatments have success rates of well over 90%. And because we have a variety of treatments and can even combine protocols, we can likely get you performing like you haven't in a long time. You could even even last up to an hour or more and make sex great again for you and your partner. So make an appointment and be done with good enough. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices to serve you.
This is Blake Fanning with Shawnee Mission Ford, here with a huge announcement. This month, it's employee pricing for all at Shawnee Mission Ford. Let me tell you one more time. It's employee pricing for all at Shawnee Mission Ford. You pay what we pay, not 1 cent more. You heard right. We got the employee pricing for everyone on new Fords. But that's not all. When you buy from Shawnee Mission Ford, you not only get employee pricing, but you also get our lifetime powertrain warranty, along with our 1-year Select Plus protection with your new vehicle purchase. This is what makes Shawnee Mission Ford different. You get all of it. Employee pricing on a great selection of new Fords, plus lifetime powertrain warranty, along with the 1-year Select Plus protection. And Shawnee Mission Ford is still going to offer you the highest trade values in Kansas City. Do not miss employee pricing for everyone. From America, for America. Shawnee Mission Ford, where we're on a mission to save you more.
Excludes 25 Super Duties, Raptor line vehicles, 25 Expeditions, and E-line.
Hey there, Royals fans. It's Royals Hall of Famer Mike Sweeney. Have you or your kids experienced a high school coach who wants to make our Kansas City community a better place to live, work, and play? The Royals and the See You in the Major Leagues Foundation, together with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City, are shining a spotlight on 6 impactful coaches in the KC metro area. Nominate a high school coach today at royals.com/coaches with character.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-518-3899. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-518-3899. That's 800-518-3899. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Royals coverage sponsored by Metal by the Foot, your metal project superstore.
Whether you're a DIY enthusiast, a contractor, or business owner, Metal by the Foot has the perfect solution for you. Located in KC and Topeka, online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
Hey, it's Cole Riggins, and this is 96.5 The Fan, your home for Royals baseball.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, and Odyssey Sports Station.
It is truly an honor and a privilege to be joined by our next guest. This is probably the last NFL draft guest that we're going to have for some time. And you know what? We have really, truly saved the best for last. I believe at some point he will be in Canton, Ohio in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He is the longtime legendary voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Mitch Holtis joins us on the show. Mitch, how are you doing today?
Doing awesome, C-Dot. How about you? You mean you don't want my 2027 mock draft, 7 rounds?
Not yet. Not yet. I mean, eventually I will want your future mock draft, just not today.
All right, good. Because I'm about drafted out too, but I'm sure excited about these new cats we got rolling into town. And, of course, rookie minicamp this week. It's exciting to see what Brett Veach and his group did.
So let's just start with this. What excites you most about this class?
I think that value is a cliche, overworked term, but there's just awesome value here. I'm most excited about Saturday. I'm sure the guys they got on Friday and Saturday, or Thursday and Friday, I'm fired up about. But Saturday feels like 2022 to me. Remember the draft class of 2022. There's going to be a 30 for 30 someday on those guys. And the amazing job that was done. And you think of all those guys still being around this team on the 22 class. Well, in this group of 25 on Saturday, to get Jalen Royals, who was under-recruited in college, stayed at Utah State, blew up there. Okay, got hurt. He dropped down, but he's a young version of Juju Smith-Schuster. Then to get Bassa, who, man, at the least is going to give you immediate special teams athleticism. And then to get Smith, who might be the next Jerick McKinnon at the least. And to get those guys on Saturday, to me, is spectacular.
Let's start from the top, and then we'll work our way down with Josh Simmons. He was a player that we talked a lot about on this show just because I think it opened up a lot of possibilities for Kansas City for the future. If you look at the way the contracts are kind of settled, it gives you an easy plan for the future. There also isn't a lot of pressure on him to start for this upcoming season. He can fully rehab, get right, get healthy, step in case of an injury happens in the second half of the season, but more importantly, be ready in 2026 to start at either left or right tackle for this team. I thought when you saw the way that the board fell together, I thought this was the pick that made the most sense to me for Kansas City.
Let's go back to our pre-draft discussion and what Brett Veach had done to prepare, and his staff had done to prepare for the draft. And there wasn't necessarily this, man, they've got to take a left tackle or they're going to be in panic. So what did that do? That allowed them to take Simmons and still make the trade with Philadelphia. Philadelphia didn't know if the Chiefs were going to trade out to someone who was going to take Jihad, the linebacker, out of Alabama, and then Philly would lose out on their guy. So because of that pre-draft work, there were a lot of options. The Chiefs still get the guy they wanted, Simmons, to your point. They get an additional draft pick in the 5th round that allowed them to then package and move twice on Saturday. I mean, we've all discussed Simmons over and over again. It's about the injury. Now, patella tendon injury is tricky. There's no surefire fastball rehab from that. We know that he was a good right tackle at San Diego State, a really good left tackle at Ohio State, quasi-spectacular left tackle in the first part of the first 6 games before he got hurt at Ohio State. So at the very least, you've got a guy that could be a long-time starter. At the best, you might have the best left tackle since Willie Roaf, dressed in red, white, and gold. And if you've got that, then you've got at least 8-year Pro Bowl, big-time impact offensive lineman for Patrick Mahomes.
That goes to my next point, Mitch, is why I was in favor of them drafting Simmons. Is this just isn't a player that is usually going to be available to the Chiefs with where they usually select. I mean, these kinds of talents at left tackle don't fall to you at 31, 32. Those players go 8th. Those players go 11th. Those players just go pretty high off the board. So I thought the value of Simmons, especially when you factor in what we were talking about, that you don't need him to start week 1, week 2, week 3, the value was just too strong at that position to pass on him.
Well, and you and I agree, because that goes back to my original comment, my answer to you was value. And it's the 22 class. Look at the value of McDuffie. Look at the value of Karlaftis. Every one of those picks. Brian Cook's a value pick. Keep going right on down the line to the 3 7th-round picks that end up being an awesome value because they're all still on the team. So now you've got Simmons, and honestly, and you guys have probably discussed this, the only way you get a potential left tackle like Simmons is if there's something that's happened off the field and people just let him slide, or he's an injury concern. And that's why he dropped a 32 in this instance. But I also trust, and I told Fesco and Dusty this, you trust the vetting process of the medical side of the Chiefs, whether it's Rick Burkholter and his athletic training staff. But here's what's important, CDOT, that gets overlooked. The way that Rick and his staff work in concert with the team doctors, that work in concert with the scouts, that work in concert with the players. With the coaches. And you'd think, well, that's the way it ought to be. Truthfully, it's rare that it happens that well. And the fact that there's nobody that's got ego here, nobody's going to take pick or credit for the pick if it works out. It's just, let's do the right thing at the right time. So I trust that vetting process with Josh Simmons. And now, all intents and purposes, it shows that he may be on the field quicker than I thought he would be prior to the Chiefs drafting him. So again, we trust in all those folks I just mentioned.
Right now, we're talking to Mitch Holtz, his voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, getting his thoughts on the Chiefs draft class. Let's move from round one, and we'll talk about these two guys as sort of a package deal because they were drafted so close together. The Chiefs in the second round get Omar Norman Lott at pick 63. They also get Ashton Gelati with the 66th overall pick. What do you make of them going D-line in essentially back-to-back picks?
Well, initially, and I'll just be candid with you, I was thinking I want a inside. I might have told you this before the draft. My wish list was, can you find another Jerick McKinnon? Can you get a starter on the defensive inside tech to be right there with Chris Jones? And so basically what they've done is packaged up these guys because they both look like sub-down players, at least to start their career. Now, in the case of Norman Lott, you get a guy that looks a lot like a better version perhaps of Turk Wharton, although Turk was really good. But you throw Gelati then in with Norman Lott, in with the fact that you've got Amenahu and you've got Karlaftis and you've got Mike Dana and you've got Felix Uzama and you've got Mike Pennell and you picked up Jerry Tillery and, oh, yeah, you've got Chris Jones, and I'm leaving somebody out in this mix, but you basically got already a four-man rotation inside and a five-man rotation outside with these two guys. And so even though there might have been an initial thought of, oh, man, I wanted inside tech a starter, you realize and see what happened in getting two guys that are very, very good players and very impactful players. Gelati's 23 was much like Jalen Royals' 23. It was awesome. And so he didn't have the sacks in 24, but he had more pressures. Matt McMullen and I talked about this in the Defending Kingdom that's up. We go through all these guys in even further detail, but the pressures of Gelati actually went up in 24 when the sacks went down. And the fact that he's so closely knit with Karlaftis, trains with Karlaftis, they share the same college coach, that it seems like a really good fit. So this defensive front for the Chiefs, you've got to look at in the sum of the parts, and that's 9 guys that are ready to go right now that you can rotate and stay effective over a 17-week regular season.
I don't know if I've ever asked you this question or not before, but where do you think Felix kind of fits into their rotation? Because, I mean, they just drafted somebody that plays his position. There hasn't necessarily been that pathway to the field for him so far. But when I look at that spot opposite George Karlaftis, Amina, who certainly has the inside track, but after that, you got Dana, you got Gelati, you got Felix. Where do you think Felix kind of fits into that group?
I just think it rotates around. I mean, it's a popcorn popper with those guys, and that's the way Spags loves it. 2 things. 1, he stays unpredictable, Spags, in his defense. 2, he can rest these guys. You're not driving them into the ground. So many defensive linemen at every level, I don't care if it's Missouri Southern or it's the high school level or the NFL, you can drive these dudes into the ground by you go, I got to play this guy. I got to play this guy. And then all of a sudden the snap count goes way up. And then you're in trouble, and he gets hurt in week 13. So with the versatility, going inside or outside, being unpredictable, and having the bulk of guys that Spags has, this is perfect for him to keep people healthy and keep people robust, even though you can sit there. It's much like the receiver position for the Chiefs or trying to pick a guy for your fantasy team. There's nobody really one guy to take, but on a week-to-week basis, you want them all. So I just think it's awesome. When you look at the front 9 that they've got now on that defensive front, and then you add the linebacker core because you kept everybody. You got Nick Bolton back, so Bolt's there. You got Chanel back. You've got Tranquil back. Now you add Bassett to this group. You got to get Cochran off his injury rehab, but we can just keep going here. Now all of a sudden you're set in the secondary because you added. I know where you're going next because Williams deserves to be a part of the discussion because you just got another Spags corner safety combo to me. I mean, this defense is set. It's going to roll into this OTAs and into the training camp ready to roll. It could be one of the NFL's top defenses again.
Right now, we're talking to Mitch Holtz, his voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's keep it rolling along. Let's talk about Noel Williams. what I really like about him, just going back and reading more about his draft profile, is this is the guy that took the football away. If I had to point to a couple of weaknesses for the Chiefs defense the last couple of years, I wouldn't really call them a ball hawking kind of defense that forces a lot of turnovers. So having a corner that you think can take the football away, especially when you pair that with a corner as talented as McDuffie, you add Christian Fulton, and you got some other corners in the mix. I'm looking at the value that they got with Noah Williams. This is the perfect third-round player to me.
A thicker type corner. Looks like a Jalen Watson, Joshua Williams guy. I think with his intelligence and his willingness to play the run, look at his tackle totals. I mean, he is a willing, wanting tackler. It looks like a Justin Reed replacement for sure to me. Maybe not right away, but eventually. And you mentioned his ball skills. 14 career picks. 14. And then you see 4 scoop and scores, which is ridiculous at any level in college. And then he's got a pick 6. Then he's got an 80-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. I know people have kind of joked about it, but he picked off a 1-1 quarterback in this draft in Cam Ward. Williams is a stud now, and he plays in the box. So, again, let's go back what Spags likes. Versatility, corners that look like safeties, that tackle like safeties, and safeties that can cover like corners. And Williams fits right into that group.
Let's keep it down the line. You mentioned Jalen Royals. You used a Juju Smith-Schuster comparison. The Chiefs certainly have a style and kind of receiver that they like. When I started to read more about Royals, I'm like, oh, this is the receiver that they already have. You think he can be Juju. You think he can be Rashee Rice. If an injury happens, you feel comfortable putting him into that role. I think the value of where they got Royals makes a lot of sense. And this hasn't really been a player that they've developed a whole lot. That kind of third, fourth receiver that could maybe have 500-600 yards. They haven't really drafted and developed that player. I'm really curious to see how this works out.
Ability to play special teams as well. He was the kick returner for Utah State before he got hurt. I love the fact that he played basketball. I've said this before, but I like my quarterbacks and wide receivers in football to be point guards who had played point guard at some level. And this kid did that. He was AAU basketball circuit. That's why he got under recruited, and the fact that he didn't go to all these combines in the summer. But his footwork, his intelligence, his understanding of defenses, when you go watch his video, you'll see him handle zone coverages to find that void in the zone. But I've said this before. I learned in 2013 in Coach Reed's offense the importance of a door hinge receiver. And I first saw it from Jason Avant. You remember him. It's at the end of his career, but he did this for Coach in Philadelphia. And the door hinge receiver to me is a guy, because Coach works off geometric attacks. I mean, someday he's going to give seminars that are going to just blow people's minds. And the way he arranges and sets up pre-snap, post-snap in getting guys open. Think of what Juju Smith-Schuster did in his ability in 22 especially, but really last year as well, of getting Kelsey open. And he can get others open now. That could be the legal pick. That's an art form. To do so that it doesn't look like a penalty. Another, bubble screens, tunnel screens, where you run your route. If I run an inside route, a pivot route, or something that opens up and influences the defense to allow a couple of other guys to fly open, that's your door hinge. And when I see Royals, that's exactly what I saw. And some say, you can see some Deebo Samuel in him, and I could see that too. But the fact that he provides that door hinge kind of receiver is big for Andy Reid's offense, and it's big for Patrick Mahomes.
Mitch, there is one critique that I have about this year's draft class, and I'll tell you what it is. When they take Bassa there, I really wanted them to go running back. I really liked this running back class. I thought there were 3 or 4 that made sense at this selection to go. I know that DJ Giddens was off the board, but maybe you trade up a little bit more. I mean, 4 picks earlier. You go get Giddens. You had Devin Neal, who was still on the board at this time. You had Ollie Gordon, who was still on the board at this time. This is where, if I was Brett Veach, I would have gone running back here in that 5th round at pick 156 and maybe passed on the linebacker.
Well, I'm not going to argue with any of that because I was thinking the same thing. But what I wanted in this draft is what you got in the 7th round. Because if I told you at the beginning of the draft you would get a future Juju Smith-Schuster potentially, and a future Jerick McKinnon at the least potentially, and maybe even more than that, would you have taken it?
Yeah, but I guess where I would maybe, disagree a little bit
I love all the guys you mentioned. If we got Devin Neal, I would gonna go crazy. I love DJ Giddens. I think he's going to be a longtime pro, and I think he's perfect for the Colts. I would have taken any of those guys. The kid from Tennessee that slipped down, but the guy we got, man, I'm telling you, go watch his video. He was a wide receiver at Miami. Comes to SMU, and SMU goes, we're going to make you Isaiah Pacheco. Well, he doesn't look like Isaiah Pacheco to me, but he does look like a wide receiver that has running back instincts. Kick returner, 4.37, angle routes, circle routes, mismatches against linebackers, go routes. The question, can he protect? He's going to have to protect. You know how much I hated losing Samaj P. Ryan, because I went nuts when he sealed the AFC Championship game. That dude won games for us, and now he's a Bengal again. Okay, but I'm not saying this guy's Samaj P. Ryan, and maybe you move a little more of a power back like Kareem Hunt into the P. Ryan role there, but this running back, Rashard Smith, has a chance to make this offense even more efficient, effective, and explosive plays. You somewhere had to increase the team speed. And the knock on Neal or Giddens, if there was one, was the fact that they are not burner 4.37s. This kid is, and he catches the football. So he's not between the tackles, or both Neal and Giddens were explosive. And I love those guys. And if we drafted him, I'd be ecstatic. But this guy brings an element, Rashard Smith, that this team hasn't had, unless McKinnon gave that to him, and McKinnon wasn't 4.37. So I'm fired up about the Smith pick, even more and more and more that I find out about him.
Mitch, I'll get you out of here with this. I mean, this is the team now. Sure, there might be a veteran move that happens, but, I mean, we are past free agency. We are past the draft. This is, in all intents and purposes, this is the Chiefs for this upcoming season. How are you feeling about their offseason? How are you feeling about the draft? How are you feeling about this roster heading into all of the offseason workouts?
Well, Brad Beach has taught me you think about today, but you think about tomorrow. And I think they're ready to go. If Rashee Rice can play almost a full season, and with him, now we're going to go back to where we thought we were a year ago, except you have a 1-year experience in Xavier Worthy. And I love the way he ended the year because he showed toughness, man. So you take those three guys, you fire in Jalen Royals to throw in there with the guys you've already got, and Juju to train Jalen Royals to be his replacement. It would be the tight end position. And a couple of these undrafted free agent tight ends are going to be kind of fun to watch and see if they can't. The kid from Clemson, Jared Casey, the kid from near my hometown, he's from Plainville and played at KU. The tight end position, because Kelsey's retirement looms, now becomes where the hot lights are, because it's so big in this offense and so important for Patrick Mahomes. Otherwise, maybe a veteran presence as a backup on the offensive line, or maybe Hunter Norzed becomes that guy and just locks it down. Between him and Mike Caliendo, if you're going to start Suamati at left guard. So otherwise, I think they're ready to rock. And I know the division did great things. They drafted well. The division's sick of losing to us, and they're coming after us. But look at what we've done to counterpunch. We're coming after people in 25, and this is a roster already that is stationed and poised to do that.
And that is the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Mitch Holtz is joining us on the show today to recap this year's draft for the Kansas City Chiefs. Mitch, I'm not sure the next time we're going to have you on the show, but I certainly look forward to your next appearance on the show.
Never know, C-Dot. You never know. Maybe we do something after minicamp, because that tells you something because of the way Coach approaches it. I've told you this many times. The Coach approaches OTAs like it's minicamp, and minicamp like it's training camp, and training camp like it's let's get ready to play week 1. So maybe mid-June, when the guys break for their 2 or 3 weeks off, maybe we jump in and see what we've got at that point.
You know what, Mitch? Why don't you have your people call my people, and we can probably set something up.
You got my people. You got my Kansas area. You know who that is. So you can talk to Tom Hayden and see what he's got.
That is Mitch Holtis joining us on the show today. Thanks, Mitch.
See you, boy.
Appreciate you. That is Mitch Holtis joining us on the show today. We don't have to spend too much more time talking about running back. I know we talked about a running back the last few days a lot. It honestly is the story to me from the Chiefs draft. This is where I'll disagree with Mitch, and I think people that share this opinion. Maybe Brashard Smith turns out to be the next Jerick McKinnon. I think there was an opportunity in this year's draft to swing higher than Jerick McKinnon. Like, I necessarily wasn't looking for a player that one-to-one fit a role that they already had. So, yes, if you're telling me that Jalen Royals turns out to be Juju Smith-Schuster, well, great. Juju Smith-Schuster had 1,000 yards with the Pittsburgh Steelers, almost had 1,000 yards with Kansas City. Like, Juju, it was a very good wide receiver when he was in his prime. That prime is over, but Juju's had a good career in the NFL. If you're telling me with the 133rd pick, that's what you got, great. I think in this running back class, there's going to be 10 or 11 guys that just end up being better than Jerick McKinnon and end up being the best running back on the roster. I would just be very surprised if Brashard Smith ends up being the best running back on their roster. And that's why, at least for me, in that 5th round pick, you had an opportunity to take somebody where we look in a year from now and we think, oh, that was a really good move by the Chiefs. They got Devin Neal in the 5th round. Look at the value. He ran for 900 yards, and now that you give him more carries, more opportunities, he could be an 1,100-yard back for the Chiefs. So that's just where I'm on the other side. Maybe he ends up being Jerick McKinnon, but Jerick McKinnon's like a 3rd down, change of pace, catch the ball out of the backfield. I think you had a chance to get a 1,000-yard rusher in this draft class, and I just don't think they got that player with Brashard Smith. Keep it right here, so drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
This man was a bona fide scrub.
On 96.5 The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
FanDuel is the best place to find all your favorite player props. And now you can make the smarter play with new performance trends. Want to see if a guy's hitting that over consistently, or maybe they've been flirting with the potential triple-double? You can get the latest stats right inside the FanDuel app, and you can see who's heating up. And once the game starts, you can combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. If you don't already have FanDuel, it is not too late to get in on all the playoff action. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So just visit FanDuel.com/KFNZ to join today. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued with nominal drawable bonus bet, which expires 7 days after restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Get up with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit KansasGamblingHelp.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion, or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Buckle up and hang on. This is going to be a good one.
The fans of Kansas Speedway know how to have a good time. One that celebrates fantastic finishes.
Crash together. So close.
And family-friendly facilities. Trading paint.
We got feuding.
And tailgating tradition. Burnouts. Beer. And barbecue. Oh, it'll for sure be a good time. And you are all invited. NASCAR weekend at Kansas Speedway, May 9th through the 11th. Get your tickets now at kansasspeedway.com.
Hey there, I'm Jack.
And I'm Stag.
We're just two deer that want to make sure you know it's deer season at your authorized John Deere dealer. The deer season that saves bucks. You know, like us.
Yeah, you can get $3,000 off select John Deere machines. No early wake-up calls or tree stands required.
Just a trip to your authorized dealer before June 2nd.
If you ask us, it's the only deer season worth celebrating.
Visit johndeere.com/deer season to find an authorized dealer and for complete finance details.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Break up with stinky clothes.
Rinse it out. Every now and then I get a little bit tired of the stinks that just will never come out. Oh, Downy the rinse straight. Every now and then I rinse it out. One wash and it delivers. One wash, it smells so clean. Downy Rinse and Refresh, it's a dream.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Fights odor in just one wash. Guaranteed.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6812. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6812. That's 800-575-6812. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Multi-car crash stopping traffic still there, southbound 35. That's the exit to 7th Street Traffic Way. Seeing some backups there. Also a stalled car closing the right lane of southbound 35 just past Southwest Traffic Way. So a lot of slowdowns happening. And a stalled car in the downtown loop, right lane closed of eastbound 670 just past Broadway. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
Rob, I want to get back to serious sports things, and I promise you we will, but I can't leave this week and then not talk to you about this story. Have you ever worn a pair of Air Force Ones before, Rob? Like when that song by Nelly was out.
I did. I used to own a pair because of that song.
Okay. I think we all did. It was a very popular song. I'm sure it sold millions of shoes for Nike. Now, what color did you have? Did you have the fresh all whites? Did you have, like, what kind of Air Force Ones did you have back in the day?
I had white on white.
You had the all whites?
Because it was in the song.
Okay. You had to get the white on whites. Okay. All right. I'm making sure. I don't know. I've never asked you this question before. Well, did you know that Nike is releasing a pair that already come in the box dirty? Because you remember how it was. You didn't want, because if you got one scuff on the all whites or they started to get dirty, you couldn't wear them anymore. You messed up your all whites. You had to get you a new pair. Well, this pair, they think they have revolutionized the sneaker game. I'll send you this picture, Rob. The shoes, they are called the Dirty Triple Whites. They come in the box looking beat up. But the technology is the more you wear them, instead of getting dirty, they actually turn white. They say that the shoe's dirty look is part of a scratch-away exterior that gets cleaner and crispier the more you wear them and the more time you spend in the shoe. They're selling these for $130. This is one of the biggest scams I've ever heard in my entire life. I've never heard of a scam bigger than this before. You're telling me the shoes look worn and beat up, and I have to wear them to get the fresh, crispy whites? Oh, this is a hoodwink. You think we're stupid? No chance. No. I would not get these shoes. I just didn't know if you had you a fresh pair of Air Force Ones. I didn't know. I never knew this about you. I learned something about you today. I've known you for what, 7, 8 years? Had no clue you had a pair of the white-on-white Air Force Ones.
I'm still sitting back here mind boggled. So you buy them and they're dirty at $150 a pop as opposed to buying them clean, and you have to wear them a bunch and they get clean over time?
Yes.
But so it's impossible to get them dirty then, right? Like a scuff or anything would be...
I don't know.
I don't know how...
We'll never know.
It's an all-time finesse. Just first team all steal your money, but...
I'm just trying to figure out when Air Force Ones turned into $130. I'm guessing when you got your pair of all-white Air Force Ones, they were what, like 65?
Yeah,
maybe 75?
I mean...
They're now $130 for the Air Force Ones.
When I bought Air Force Ones, I didn't have to make a decision between eggs and Air Force Ones.
No, that's true.
The world's changed.
No, that's fair.
Do you want an omelet or do you want a fresh pair of Air Force Ones?
That's fair. Okay, I just didn't know. I learned so much. I didn't know you were Air Force One individual. Give me 2 pair, is what Rob Britton used to say back in the day. You would wear those with like a fresh pair of like Abercrombie jeans or American Eagle. I know you. I'm guessing first day of school, Rob Britton, you were fitted going to Blue Valley Northwest.
I mean, I looked like the American Eagle model, except for...
I'm sure you did.
Except for the quality of look.
I'm sure.
The body type was different, but if you were like, hey, this kid's wearing the pastel polo and the cargo shorts that are kind of torn at the bottom with some Air Force Ones, that was Rob Britton in 8th grade.
I remember I was in college, and I remember one day I was thinking to myself, hey, what's going on in Hollister? Like, why does it always look so like dark and secluded in there? You remember all the stores had like a different storefront, but Hollister, you couldn't really see into it. You had to go inside because I was just always like, I'd always would walk past this, never walked in there, and I was genuinely curious of what was going on in there. I went in there and I was like, oh, okay, this is just like American Eagle. But for the longest time, I thought they were running some kind of back operation, some kind of shady dealing inside Hollister because you couldn't easily see into the store like everywhere else.
Did you ever, and we're going off track here, but life, did you ever see the Abercrombie Netflix documentary?
I did, actually.
It was fantastic.
I did.
There was a time where...
Two Americas. I'm going to tell you that right now. It was a Two Americas story.
That was Two Americas?
It was definitely... Abercrombie was definitely a Two Americas story.
Hold on. Kanye West, back before he went banana land, was constantly wearing Abercrombie.
Yeah, Kanye's fashion and what everybody else's fashion was wearing in 2001 was a little bit different. That's what made Kanye so cool, is he was wearing stuff that everybody else wasn't wearing at that time. That's what made it a little different.
He was a staple of the Abercrombie American Eagle community.
I'm with you. No, I learned so much about you in this segment. I had no clue. I learned something new every day. Somebody asked if you used to go to the Buckle.
Nah, Buckle wasn't for me. PacSun, also not for me. Let's just check all the boxes.
I actually did used to like PacSun. I was a PacSun guy. I used to like PacSun. I'm going to be real. I did used to like PacSun. I'll walk in there now. I might not buy anything, but I'll walk in PacSun, look around for a little bit, check out the T-shirts before I get out of there.
Do kids have an Abercrombie or PacSun now?
I think kids just shop on the internet for clothes.
We're losing recipes.
No, certainly losing recipes. I like Urban Outfitters. You go there?
No.
I'll go there. I'll get something from there.
I went there a bunch in college.
I didn't know.
I feel like a place you can buy jeans and a shot book is not the place to buy jeans.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Hey, do you want coasters, a shot book, a hat, and jeans? I got the spot for you.
Actually, you know what? I don't know if that's fair because you can get that from Marshalls or TJ Maxx. You can get both of those things. Those aren't nearly as hip. Think about that. You can get a couch and you can get your summer wardrobe from the exact same place. So you know what? I think you're being a little unfair here.
I will say, as an adult, I find myself at Marshalls and the at-home store far often than I ever thought I would.
Home Goods.
Home Goods, 100%.
You seem like a Kohl's and Home Goods kind of guy.
We're making the transition in this is the thing that I didn't think I'd ever worry about. We're making the transition in the house from, hey, it's winter to spring decor, and I find myself at Marshall's and Home Goods in these stores far more often than I ever anticipated I would in my life.
The thing that always cracks me up about those conversations is they ask you a question fully knowing that you either don't care about it, and it doesn't matter really what your input is anyway. They already had an idea in mind. They just simply ask you so you can feel a part of the process, even though you really want nothing to do with the part of the process. I don't really care. As long as you're happy with how things look, I just want to come home, watch TV, and watch the game and have a beer. So as long as whatever domicile you create allows me that ability, I don't really care how you decorate it that much.
I mean, I have my little man cave. I like it to be a certain way, so I get it. But
you spent plenty of Saturday just screaming at Jalen Daniels. I know you have.
Oh yeah, that's what
I know you have.
It was the fall at Jalen Daniels, then the winter at Hunter Dickinson. But you know what? Now
Rylan Griffin was just giving you him and AJ Storr just gave you nothing but grief in January.
And now I find myself at Hobby Lobby figuring out which little plastic bush we're gonna put in the house.
There ain't nothing worse than after you just watch Rylan Griffin go 1 for 8 from the field. She then looks at you, says, "Hey babe, do you want to go to Home Goods?" "No, I don't actually."
Why are you out here hating on potential future Tiger? Future Tiger Rylan Griffin.
I don't want him.
You might not, but Dennis Gates does.
Well, they need somebody who can shoot it. So Rylan Griffin might be the one that they go pick up to have shoot it. All right, we'll get back to very serious sports things. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
Hey, it's Lucas Ursig from the Kansas City Royals. You're listening to The Drive with CDOT on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Tonight, expect possible showers and thunderstorms with a low of 59.
Weather brought to you by Robert Half. Our recruiters' expertise and award-winning AI will find you the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code LEAD25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code LEAD25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code LEAD25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Wendy's has this new Cajun Crunch chicken sandwich. And to be honest, I'm kind of crushing hard on this Sammy. It's packed with bold Cajun flavors and topped with crispy onions for a satisfying crunch. All on Wendy's iconic spicy chicken sandwich. It's honestly kind of my dream sandwich. I hope it likes me back. For a sandwich you'll love, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location.
I'm sure everyone says this, but my mom really deserves the world. This year, I finally found a Mother's Day gift that comes close. She loves Hellsberg, so I'm getting her these timeless gold earrings she can enjoy for years to come. They feel special enough to show how much I truly appreciate everything she does for me. And I mean everything. I even sent my dad a link to the Diamond Eternity band he'll be getting her, too.
Save up to 50% on Mother's Day gifts Mom will cherish forever. Visit Hellsberg.com or a store near you.
Call Aspen Lawn and Pest Control. Our iconic blue trucks and expert team get it right the first time. Award-winning full-service lawn care and pest control since 1985. Call today for a free estimate. Visit aspenlawn.com.
Hi, Mia here at the winnings desk of the Missouri Lottery. So, I wanted to write a thank you note for every dollar Missouri Lottery players have given to Missouri and education. But that would be 8.4 billion notes. So to save a little time and a whole lot of paper, here's just one. Dear every single lottery player in Missouri, thank you for helping us give $8.4 billion to Missouri and education. Sorry, my trumpet's in the shop. The Missouri Lottery. Winners welcome and play responsibly.
At Casey's, we're too nice to say no. So when someone asked for a free frozen drink, we said sure. Then they said every Friday all summer, and well, now we're giving away free medium frozen drinks every Friday. Free frozen Fridays with Casey's Rewards. It's not crazy, it's Casey's. See store for details.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover's accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, cause you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $32.99 at O'Reilly Auto Parts. In-store only. Limit supply.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $32.99 at O'Reilly Auto Parts. In-store only. Limit supply.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Rob Site Ford. Non-commissioned staff, low prices, best trade-ins, and the biggest selection. Visit robsite.com.
When it comes to buying a car, simple wins. Rob Site Ford has the inventory, the trade values, and the non-commissioned team that puts you first. No pressure, just 4.8 stars on Google for a reason. ROBSIGHT.com.
Royals coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
It's almost Andy Reid. The off-season is a perfect time for a $100 tune-up from Renner Garage Door. Get a free replacement quote today. Call or click RennerDoor.com. Renner forward and back.
RENNER.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Emergency vehicles at the on-ramp of eastbound 670 from Broadway, clearing out that stalled car, slowing things down into downtown. Multi-car crash. Stopping traffic southbound 35 at the on-ramp from the 18th Street Expressway. We've got a stalled car stopping traffic. Also southbound 435 at the on-ramp from Front Street on the Metro's northeast side. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5, The Fan Traffic.
Hey, it's Lucas Ursig from the Kansas City Royals. You're listening to The Drive with C-Dot on 96.5 The Fan.
All right, we don't have a lot of time, but we do have the time to share some stats with you. The Royals, if they win today, they will be over 500 heading into the month of May. This will be the 8th time this has happened in the last 20 years that they have been above or at 500 heading into the month of May. If you want to go June 1st, only 4 times in the last 20 years have they been at or above 500 heading into the month of June. In those 4 years, 2 of the times they made the postseason. If you look at last year, there were 12 teams that were at or above 500 heading into June 1st. 10 of those teams made the postseason. The Royals got past step 1. They have played a decent handful of games so far this year. There is 1 additional month, and usually that tells us whether or not you are a playoff team or not. So it is not a one-to-one. All the teams, yes, teams have injuries that happen. Teams come out of nowhere. Teams make a second half push. Yes, but for the most part, the team you are after the first 2 months of the season is a real good indication of the kind of team that you are. Where I'm looking at this thing through a glass half full perspective is the fact that the Royals are at 500, despite not really having a good offense for the first 30 games or so in the season, is actually a really big accomplishment. Out of their big four offensively, if you want to throw Jonathan India into that mix, only Bobby is really hitting his normal average. I mean, Salvador Perez has kind of turned things around the last 10 days or so, but I mean, Vinny Pasquantino isn't what he was in July of last year. Jonathan India has been a little bit inconsistent, and Salvador Perez, he's been all right, but he's still hitting 225 and not really hitting for a lot of power, but is clearly turning things around for this team. This is a really important month as the schedule lightens up just a little bit to kind of see where the Royals are. The Royals got off to a little bit of a rough start, but I give the Royals a lot of credit for fighting back, getting to 500, and playing their best baseball in the second half of the month. Now, as the calendar is about to turn into May, what does that mean for the Royals? What does that look like for the Royals? The next 30 days for this team is really, really important. And it will tell us whether or not the Royals have a chance at once again being a playoff team. We were talking about this earlier. Somebody sent in the text about the Royals feeling like a 9-8 football team. I'll take that. The Royals have not been the equivalent of a 9-8 football team for too many seasons in our life. That I'm with you. This season maybe hasn't gotten off to the overwhelming start that you thought it could potentially do. But we're talking about a team that has been pretty good, a team that's been fairly consistent for the most part, a team that seems to be figuring things out and turning the corner in an American League that seems very, very bunched up and everybody seems to kind of be clustered together. Now we'll start to see as the season progresses who creates separation, who can continue to stay hot, who stays healthy, who gives themselves a chance. So I would say for the first part of the season, I give the Royals a C+. They were average. That's fine. You don't need to get an A+ in April. You just can't get an F. You can't get a D. You can't fail April. You now allow yourself the ability to move on, and now let's see what the next 30 games look like for the Royals. And as the schedule lightens up a little bit, Rob, it gives them a little bit of leeway here. It gives them a little bit of a runway that I want to see them be 5-6 games over 500 heading into the summer.
I feel like the Royals season has gone exactly how we kind of anticipated. I remember before the season, we had conversations of if the Royals are 500-ish at the 30-game mark, will fans be cool with it or will they be frustrated and down on the team? We saw that in real time. They came through what will maybe end up, maybe not, you know how the schedule's going to shake out, the most difficult stretch they have on their schedule, and they came out on the other side relatively fine, 500. If you can get some bats going and you see Perez turning a corner and Bobby Witt's a freak, if you can get those things going, then you feel like, hey, the White Sox haven't played us yet. The Angels haven't played us yet. There are a lot of bad teams still on the schedule, and you can get kind of fat and happy. And you're right. If they were a 9-8, 10-7 football team that made the postseason again, no one should be complaining. And then it's a distant conversation, but they have the pitching to at least have a conversation about winning a series in October, but they didn't kill themselves in April, and that's the end goal.
We are off early today because of the Kansas City Royals. I am off for the rest of the week, but I'll be back on Monday. Hopefully, you guys have a great rest of your week. Bink's going to be in for me for the rest of the week. I'll catch up with you guys. Have a great rest of your day. Keep it right here on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
For the first time in a long time, I'm willing to dream that this can be a special season for the Missouri Tigers.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.